Hello everybody and welcome to day 18 of the playoffs. It's time for match number 2 between Team Hero and Team Bisou. Let me show you guys what's on the line here. Team Queen was sent to the losers match after our last video, and here in match number 2, either Team Hero or Team Bisou will be eliminated. Whoever wins here is going to go up against Team Queen in match number 3, and the winner of that match will be facing off against Team Light in the finals. Taking a look at today's matchups, everything's been set here. Saxory versus Bisou is looking like a deadly match, don't you think, Shun?
Yeah, it is. Saxory's been playing phenomenally well, and Bisou's a PvC specialist, as everyone knows, so that's going to be probably one of the best games of the evening, I imagine. Although we do have, following that up, Mong versus Mighty Mong. An absolute beast in TVP, a macro powerhouse. Would really like to see how he fares against Mighty in those mid to late game stages. And yeah, some other great games as well. What do you think about Denzi versus the designated Terran driver of Bora here?
Well, I think that Cadenzi should be pulling out some cheese here. I don't think she's feeling confident after her match versus Toss Girl that she can take a long game on par with some of these Terrans. Bora is a very strong designated driver indeed, and this Protoss lineup is starting to look thin, guys. The Team Bisou is the last of a dying breed here. The Apes are going extinct here tonight if they can't bring a win forward.
Yeah, it's looking pretty dire for them, and I'm not too sure about the choice of putting Mini in last as well. I mean, he's probably one of the most emotional pro gamers out of everyone, so putting him in the very last kind of makes me worry if they don't have a few games under their belt by the time he starts to play. He maybe will be affected by that psychologically, not having much wind in his sails, going up against Sharp. Sharp, very, very talented and good at executing in pretty much any matchup. So Mini will have to be on his A game to take him out as well. So if there's any kind of like shakiness to Mini, he could just fall apart.
Yeah, if there's a landslide here, if Team Bisou's down, almost down and out, Mini might just fall apart there. Also, Hero versus Tyson, I think that match is going to come right before his match. Hero should be able to walk over Tyson on Tempest. We'll see what kind of strategies he brings out here. All right, with that, let's jump into game number 1. Okay, game number 1 here. Ani versus Kim. This is PvP. Okay, let's get it started. Watched quite a bit of PvP this week. Watched BSL, and the finals was well, probably shouldn't spoil it, but there was some PvP in that series for sure. A lot of PvP, in fact.
I mean, maybe you shouldn't spoil it, but I would also kind of like to know about it. So yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. It looks like we're going to be seeing a 2-gate coming out from Team Bisou. Whereas a bit of is this going to be a really greedy play coming out from Hani here, isn't it? We're going to go for this very fast 13 Nexus.
Jeez, that's going to be hard to hold on to. Kim might just get a free win here. Double Zealot coming across the map and starting to harass probes, you know, dealing damage to this Nexus, maybe going after the pylon. I think Hani needs to scout this right away and throw down another gateway here as quickly as possible. No, she's sending her probe south. Oh, but she does drop another gateway. Okay, maybe she can hang on. What is Kim doing with these zealots right now? She's just blocking the entrance. Probably needs to send these across the map to actually get this damage rolling. Maybe she waits for like 3 zealots to pop, right, and then goes.
That's the usual go-to, is you wait for the first 3. That's the power spike. When you go for 2-gate, you wait for 3 zealots, and you go. Depending on the matchup, you might send a probe or no probe with those 3 zealots. But yeah, that is the general rule of thumb here. We'll probably see that come out. But well, yeah, the fact that she's scouting this so late as well is actually going to be really problematic for Hani, because she will have defender's advantage, but she will be in a bit of a dire situation, because how can she hold onto this natural nexus while also defending the choke point to prevent the zealots getting in to attack the mineral lines? It's going to be really troublesome for her to navigate that. She is starting to send workers to mine in the natural expansion already, so she will have some workers to maybe drill over these zealots to kind of give some ability to fight off this early threat from Kim, but it's going to come down to a lot of micro from both of these players. But I feel like the defender's advantage might not be enough to mount a strong enough defense, but so far it seems like Kim is not adamant on pressing the issue. So if Kim doesn't pull the trigger on this anytime soon and go with these initial zealots, maybe this is actually the advantage Hani.
Yeah, it seems like she's just decided not to make any more zealots. She went 2 gate and made 3 zealot very late. She actually saved money, didn't have much uptime on those gateways, and now she's got a nexus out. I don't know if I like this. This seems not good considering the openers here. She should have been able to put on quite a bit of pressure. She should have been able to, you know, kill a couple of probes maybe. But instead she's just gone into, you know, Dragoon production here. I think that's what we're gonna see, right? And 3 zealots are gonna come over versus 3 zealots. Let's see how this battle goes. It's all gonna come down to the surrounding. Of course, the rallies are gonna be big as well. 2 zealots are attacking this 1 zealot from Kim. Doesn't stick around to actually finish that off, but does quite a bit of damage there. And now she's gonna back off a little bit and bring up these extra zealots. Dragoons are about to pop out here for Kim. I don't know about this. This is a weird opener. This is a weird. We really rarely ever see Protosses open like this and it get to this point with just pure zealot. Like, what are we seeing right now?
Yeah, it's very mind gamey and trying to like abuse the meta as much as possible, trying to see if they can sneak an advantage in any way possible. And it's almost like eco cheese they've kind of gone for. They've gone to this very low tech oriented style initially and trying to power up their economy early game. And now they're doing these big tech switches, which are one of the only races that can do this kind of strange tech pathing where they're very versatile in how they can build their buildings in certain orders, whereas say Terran and Zerg much more linear in how they can navigate these tech paths and what timings during the game they can go for these choices.
Well, Kim's got her probe inside the main right now for Hani, so this is a big advantage, having that full information, whereas you know, Kim or sorry, Hani here, she just doesn't know what Kim's doing and got no idea. There's the robo over there in the natural. I think that the probe's been killed now, but we're going for a DT here. We'll see if we can slip one in. Maybe, you know, sneak by the defenses here for Hani, and she's going into after this a robo as well and some cannons at the front just in case there happen to be DTs from Hani as well.
Yeah, we'd like to see some DT drop play. Usually is very effective, especially if one player is relying on frontal defense, like cannons we made at the front, and then all of a sudden you got DTs in your main, can kind of like, you know, swing the game in your favor very quickly in this matchup. And so far, a lot of cannons being thrown down for Kim. 2 at the front, 1 in the main. You see a cannon going down into the natural expansion of Hani. Get a little bit of issue with the placement of that. Going to be optimizing the minerals as much as possible, replacing that down slightly outside of the pathing there. We're going to be throwing down additional gateways as well. So both players kind of lining up more or less even with everything but the gateways right now. So I would say I like this position a little bit more for Hani going forward. There's going to be a lot more production, a lot more powerful gateway units to go forward here, but there's going to be one opportunity for Kim to come in here with maybe some DT drop play and kind of swing the game in her favor that way. There is no cannon in the main base right now besides these Dragoons and Observers to come in and sweep that out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your assessment there, Shin. Like, seeing the cannons at the front there for Kim, you gotta imagine the Dark Templar are on the way. You've gotta just make that assumption, and she's throwing down 1 cannon for that defense, and she should have an observer in her main as this DT's coming across. Hani should be able to block this perfectly. It shouldn't be a problem. Kim comes in with the single zealot, checks things out, sees the cannon. Should realize here, okay, we're not going to be able to make it through into the natural, so let's wait for the shuttle to come out. Storms are available, I think. But is she going to load these up and go across the map? Because she really needs these to help defend. I don't see any Dragoons here at the front. And maybe Hani can hit this timing where she's going to break the front here. Another cannon coming up. There's just a few zealots. Look at this. This is a dangerous moment here right now for Kim. She's going to have to drop these Templar out. She can't leave right now. She needs these Templar for the storm, for the defense.
It's actually a good play here from Hani because she's pinning down the tech units of Kim by doing this move. It's kind of like in chess where you're pinning the knight or something by forcing them just to remain in place. And now we see like a beautiful storm coming out, blanketing all of those zealots from Hani, going to be drying up all the tanking capability. But it doesn't really matter as long as there's enough Dragoons here to come in and take out these cannons. It's going to be very difficult for Kim to mount a successful defense here. So Hani's putting the pressure on, softening up these defenses so she can start abusing the slow movement of these zealots.
Yeah, another cannon gonna go down here. Archon should fall as well. Gonna dive on top of this next cannon. There's one more warped in right now. She's going to pick that off as well. We don't have another storm, but the Archon pops, and we're going to have Dragoons meeting the field as well. A nice storm there on the retreating Dragoons, but she actually has less Dragoons right now, and that's not going to be a winning fight here. Kim starting to save up some money right now. She has one more storm to work with. There we go. Throwing that down. Another storm there as well. But yeah, you're right. She can't actually go out on the map right now and do something like a storm drop. Hani keeping everything pinned back here. Just everything focused on the defense right now. Another storm goes down. And now there's actually more here for Kim. So maybe she can push out onto the map and start to pressure Hani a little bit.
And one thing to note is that Hani's being a little bit cost ineffective with some of these attacks, so there is some chance for Kim to even up the trade, but thus far Hani's done a good job of more or less staying about 25 or so supply ahead of Kim the entire time, despite some good storms and some good trades from Kim along the way. So now kind of Hani has the ability to just expand and get as much more consolidation of her advantage as possible, while also containing the threat of Kim. Eventually, though, Kim will have a strong enough force that she can start to put on some counter pressure. We'll see DTs come in. We'll see maybe another storm drop coming in. Now that she's finally got a strong standing army, she will be able to start going for the storm drop like she's going for now, with the shot moving to the top north threshold of the map, trying to come into the main base, maybe storm a lot of the probes of Hani, and somehow kind of getting an advantage that way. But if left unchecked, Hani will run away with this game.
One thing I've noticed is that there's not a lot of uptime on these Nexuses for Kim. She has not been really producing much probes. She's focused really, really hard on holding on right now, and that could come and bite her a little bit later on. If she, you know, eventually takes us to a later game, we get to a third base, Hani's going to have enough probes, I think. She's been producing enough of those that she's going to be able to instantly saturate that third. And the only thing I can see, you know, bringing Kim back into this one is maybe this storm drop, but it's just kind of sitting here at the top left. It seems like it's been maybe forgotten. I'm not sure what she's doing with that. Maybe she's waiting for energy to build up on those Templar. I don't know. Maybe waiting for a moment when she's ready to push out to fly in here and try to get that, or maybe waiting for shuttle speed. What do you think, Shin?
I think it's definitely more of the latter you said about waiting for the move out timing. I think she wants to guarantee that the army of Hani is where she wants it to be before flying in of that shuttle. She wants to lower the chance of there being any Dragoons in the main base to deal with that threat as possible, and also Hani be as distracted as possible while Kim flies in with that shuttle to maximize the chance of those storms connecting with those probes in the mineral field.
Well, a lot of probes being sent down here. The third base is not where Kim was expecting. Her DT's over there at the top right, and the base is going to be in the center right. Another base maybe going to get set up here for Hani. She's really expanding a lot and making good use of that money, that extra income, to increase her supply lead. Kim going to take, it looks like, the mineral only here, but that's going to give an advantage to Hani. If you don't have that extra gas, you don't have the money for those extra Templar, Hani should be able to take a big advantage here.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note, though, is that I would say there is a chance here that Hani takes a bad fight in the middle, and we see Kim, slowly start to mount a comeback here. I don't want to count Kim out just yet, but so far it is looking pretty Hani favored, and it is kind of Hani's game to lose at this present moment. I think with good storms, Hani can get a really good trade here and basically force Kim into a lose-lose situation, but we don't know just yet how that's going to transpire, because both sides have a lot of storms available to them and a strong Dragoon count here, so it's going to come down to positional play mainly. And so far there's a good positional play here for Kim, actually. Pretty good surface area, beautiful storms on the northern flank as well. Nice counter storm from Hani on the southern flank, though. Good at flanking in pretty much the majority of those Dragoons. Tries to reshuffle them down to the eastern side, get on top of the Dragoons on the south side of the army, but not really able to get the best connections there. And Hani doing her absolute darndest to try and get the best of the fight, but so far Kim doing a great job of getting a really big counter concave on those Dragoons and counteracting the poor positioning of Hani as best she can, now forcing Dragoons back onto the fortress high ground and cutting off some of their retreat. Meanwhile, though, Hani has done a good job of fortifying this high ground position at 3 o'clock, though, so this expansion will be really impossible for Kim to break. As long as there's enough rallied units coming up for Hani, then she'll be able to hold that position. But now the Charles Quentin's made base of 2 cannons should die, though, without losing any probes. So far I would say this has gone pretty Kim's way, besides that storm drop failing.
Yeah, that storm drop was brutal, man. She just did not get any damage going with that, and Kim takes advantage, or she takes map control here. She's got way more Dragoons, but she hasn't moved around the map. She hasn't really been scouting properly and looking for bases here. Hani's going to get away with this, actually? This false high ground here at the bottom right? How's this happening right now? Just send Zealots over there and she would be able to kill that, no problem. I'm really shocked that she didn't get more damage as well with that drop coming in, because Hani had everything pulled to the front. She was very distracted and just, yeah, almost no damage at all. That's a little bit disappointing. You know, Kim takes that big fight, but now she's behind once again in the supply, and again, not looking great for her when Hani's taking this 4th base and it's being allowed to stay up, even though Kim has map control. Another base going to go down here in the bottom right as well.
Yeah, Honey's just going to try and spread across the map like a virus and try and use her superior production to outmuscle and overwhelm Kim in the long game. And Kim right now has had the map control, but is unable to leverage it to any potential advantage. She's kind of like retreated a little bit and consolidating her force on the western quadrant of the map, but that's going to kind of bite her in the ass later on when she realizes that she's actually still behind the curve. I'm not sure if she actually knows about this false high ground in the bottom right, does she? Because no. I imagine if she did knew about it, she wouldn't be playing like this right now. Because right now she's kind of playing into Hani's hands a little bit, and now she's starting to like come out a little bit into the middle of the map again, sees the big overwhelming force of Hani, and knows she has to pull back a little bit and set up for a better positional play here. She needs a better concave with these Dragoons, and the Storms need to be perfect here to make sure she gets a good trade. Tries to turn around and fight well if she can, but beautiful Storms going to be coming up from both sides. I think the Storms are way better for Hani this time around, though. Going to be pushing her back and forcing her to reshuffle the Dragoons back over to the western side, and forcing her into a worse and worse situation. But so far, the Dragoons are doing a really good job of winning the northern fight, though. So actually, Kim coming out on top with these Dragoon fights over and over again, with the DT underneath, though, going to be giving enough DPS to finally win that fight, and now coming out ahead about 20 or so supplies. So overall, I still think like Kim has a fighting chance in this game, but there is more production coming out from Hani slowly.
It really does feel like Kim just has like better upgrades or something. I'm not sure, but she's taking these fights really well. The Storms look very good for Hani, but Kim keeps coming out on top. Oh my gosh, she's not going to spot this again. Holy cow. So she's been, you know, patrolling down at the bottom right, the main base and natural, but she just hasn't been checking that false high ground. And even though she's taken these fights, won these fights multiple times, and taking map control, she just hasn't been shutting down these bases. That is really going to hurt for her going forward here. And yeah, that DT in the last fight was insane. I wanted to mention that. God dang, that did so much damage because all the observers went down during the initial fight. The Storms just killing all of that. Another observer going down here. And finally, I think Kim going to take a 6th base here. Or no, a 5th base, excuse me.
Yeah, it seems like Kim's going for the glass cannon approach, going for the pure weapon upgrades right now, whereas Hani's going for the more balanced approach of one armor, one weapons attack. So we'll be slightly tankier in the ground army is Hani. But yeah, so far Kim doing a great job of winning those Dragoon on Dragoon fights. I think just better army positioning a little bit and understanding of the dynamic fluidity of those engagements kind of gives her the upper edge, because it feels like Hani's like a little bit more. I'm not sure the correct word is to say like indecisive, but I still feel like Kim has a much better grip on like where to engage and when to engage, and has a better movement with her army. And so far, though, Hani coming up with this natural high ground, going to be destroying this mineral line of beautiful Storms, forcing Kim to come back on this disadvantaged position and coming to this tight choke point, trying to fight back this force. The ground for army of Hani has dried up enough that Kim can fight this, push this all the way back, though. But so far, Hani probably has about the same army supply as Kim, but a lot more probes, maybe. And this is going to eventually lead to the situation where Hani needs to just keep trading over and over again, and eventually will just outmuscle Kim. And Kim, I think, is aware of that and is trying to take this expansion the northwest right now, but that's going to be counteracted really easily by the rally point of Hani is going to come in and sweep this up.
Yeah, Hani doing a great job breaking off some Zealots now to go and hit that top left, and Kim is running out of units here. She's trying to break through right as the cannons are finishing. If she could just kill this base, she's going to be on even bases with Hani. So that's, I mean, that's a big plus here, but still, Hani has for sure more probes right now. She's got way more money in the bank. Her overall production is just better with a full 30 supply more. And now these zealots are going to hit the 4th base. So this 4th base could end up going down. This is a lot of zealots to fight off. And yeah, if she just targets the Nexus here, this is a dead base. Man, Hani is starting to run away with this game, even though Kim has won basically every battle.
Yeah, Kim has done a great job of controlling her army up until this point, but now the steam train is coming, and there's plenty of steam in the engine of Hani to keep this going right now. 50 supply ahead of Kim right now. 2 upgrades have finished. Everything is set up for Hani to just absolutely crush this game going forward. There's quite a few more Archons in the standing army of Hani as well to soak up these zealots that are being made by Kim as well. So I think the army composition is starting to favor Hani more and more as time goes on. So not only has she got superior forces, but she's also got a better army composition to boot as well. So they're doing a great job of overwhelming the force of Kim now. There's a big square formation getting absolutely destroyed by the Sonic Storm of Hani now, and the Dragoons are just like in such a strong swell of number that Kim cannot fight this any longer, and it's now full retreat to over her middle only expansion, which is probably going to be destroyed in like the next minute or two. I think Hani doesn't even have to really do anything here. You just maintaining the game state is a winning position for Hani. Like pretty much anything that Hani chooses to do will probably lead to a victory here, Sam.
Yeah, just continue to macro up, get towards that max supply, and continue to deny bases. It should be fine. That high ground, or the false high ground base for Kim, will be running out here shortly, but here comes Hani. She wants to shut this down right now, coming in on top of this mineral only with quite a lot of Dragoons. The storms are insanely good, but there's still way too many Dragoons here for Hani, and the rallies are coming through. Gonna break this base. GG. Kim wins nearly every single fight this game, but still unable to take this win here. And the first one goes to Team Hero. So that was pretty wild. The way that Kim was winning those fights, but just not able to scout, counterattack, and deny base is quite the way that Hani was. So I feel like more experience, maybe Hani. Just with the overall thought process of PvP, but maybe the micro and control going a bit to Kim there. An interesting dynamic for sure, but that PvP is done now. We're going to go on to our main event here. That's going to be Saxory versus Bisu coming up next. Here we are, Saxory versus Bisu on Invader. This is the match that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it's on Invader. It's ZVP. It's between Saxory and Bisu. Some absolute legends right now, and Bisu, like, he's a PvZ god. He basically reinvented. I'd say he reinvented. He basically invented the matchup. It didn't really have much foundation until this guy came around. He like showed everyone how to play the game almost, and still to this day, more or less the same style is being used, just obviously with modern adaptations and adjustments being made to suit both play styles and the meta shifts of the game. So really interesting to see this guy play whenever he does have the opportunity to do so. And it's actually going to be throwing out that really fast pull, and it's going to be scouted really early by Bisu as well, so neither player going to be caught off guard here. And seeing this probe in his base this early, Bisu's almost certain that this is going to be Saxory's almost certain this is going to be a Nexus before Forge into a Forge probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. Try and wait. Oh my god, the pylon looks so close to where the Nexus is supposed to be thrown down. That is funny looking, actually. Like the shadow is on top of the Nexus area. That should be okay. I doubt that Bisu made a mistake that grievous, but that would be hilarious. Yeah, he's gonna throw down this Nexus now with the 400 minerals coming in. Look at how close that is, man. That looks so funny, but he will get the Nexus down. And yeah, Saxory here gonna produce some lings. It's gonna be Forge before Nexus. Actually, he just needs to get that Forge out as quickly as possible, and he's probably going to drop a second cannon. What do you think? 2 cannon here?
He'll probably check how many lings are being made. He may start a second cannon and cancel it if he's not sure, but he should be rotating this probe down to check how many lings were made, but what he wants to do instead is force the delay on this hatchery, so that lings have to then come to the probe, and then he knows if the lings show up and try and catch the probe, then he knows he doesn't have to make a second cannon because the lings are delayed by chasing the probe. Whereas if he then doesn't see any lings chasing the probe, he might be worried about lings being on the way to him, and then have to either pull probes off the mineral line to block to defend that cannon because it might be killed by the first 6 lings, or he make a second cannon. But I think he just pull probes in either case.
Yeah, pulling probes here makes sense, but there is that secondary ramp, right? Maybe he comes from 2 angles. It's pretty rough. This game it's not going to be a factor here, but Bisu smoothly transitioning into this gateway now, and Saxery, he has his 3rd base down. That wasn't delayed too much either. So we're going to get into a little bit of the early parts of the mid game here, and it's very important to keep this probe alive. Oh, whoa. Bisu, that was a little bit bad there, and actually Saxery really running this down. He gets it already.
Wow.
That is painful. He didn't even see the layer.
He was doing manual pathing with those lings really efficiently. It's actually like you do need to really pay attention to the hex tiles on the map to get the lings to react that efficiently. But if you click really precisely with your lings, you can get them to attack very quickly over and over again while you're chasing the probe. But it does require so many precise clicks to pull that off, so it's always impressive when you see it like that.
Very well done by Saxery, and this is in line with what we've been saying about him, is he has been looking so good over the entire course of this team KCM. He's just been looking fantastic. He's getting a huge amount of wins. He's been getting upsets, and you can really tell that he's been practicing hard here in Broodwar, and just getting prepared for, you know, maybe that next ASL he wants to do a little bit better than he has been, and maybe make a name for himself in the scene. Oh, he gets the next probe. Wow. Yeah, he's
so good.
He's doing amazing right now. Really well. He's gonna come up here, sees the 3 zealot, and looks like Bisu just gonna turn around. He understands that there's probably quite a few lings out here. Just perfect play so far from Saxery. Is he going to be able to snipe one of these zealots? Maybe just jump on top? Oh, he's going to run by, go after the cannon here. Getting on top of that cannon is huge. He kills the cannon. He's going to run right into the main base, I think, and start to get probes as well. That's like 6 lings. That's a lot of damage.
Saxery's making this look easy. He's making it look easy how to dismantle Bisu. It's like he's got Bisu figured out, and like he's really got a great mental plan on how to deal with Bisu. Every decision that he's making seems very thoughtful and methodical. He seems like he's very heavily metagaming Bisu in this matchup. But I'm really impressed with the decision making of Saxery in this game thus far. The way he's also navigating around from the main and the natural right now, ping-ponging back and forth, taking out a gas probe, going back into there, poking back into the natural again, building. He's doing very efficient movements from these lings, getting maximum damage in the main base, still taking out probes in the main base, forcing a lot of multitasking from Bisu out, while they're back at home making macro hatcheries, getting a Spire online. He's getting a Spire hatchery with production, so he can go for an Ogre Zerg play if he so chooses. Does have that second gas available to him, so can come as a follow-up here with a lot of Scourge and a lot of Mutilus to kind of finish him off. He could catch this first Corsair if Bisu's distracted.
Yeah, he could absolutely catch this. The Spire is already done. We've got 4 Zealots making their way over here towards the natural, but he should be able to surround and kill those. This is not enough lings right now, but there are going to be Mutas popping here in a second. Oh, this is the first mistake maybe we've seen from Saxery's. Mutas are not here. They're not ready just yet. Lings are in high enough numbers now. With the drones, they should be able to clean all this up. This is perfect holding, actually, from Saxery. Really good micro with the drones, and he's even going to push these Zealots into the back. Clean up this one and surround this second Zealot back here. It's got 4 kills, but it will be picked off. Very nice hold here from Saxery, and he's going to have some Mutas out. He's going to have Scourge out. Man, everything's just going so well, and look at that. Stargate, second Stargate going to come up here. He's realized that we're going to have this Mutilus switch, but I think this is just going to be 5 Muta into Hydra, and Bisu's going to be, you know, kind of dead in the water if he's building a whole bunch of Corsairs when there's actually Hydras on the way.
Right, this is kind of like the meta game right now going on. You kind of like forced Protoss' hand by making just a handful of Mutalisks, usually no more than 5. You can do this with a 2-hatchery style of Muta play as well and transition into 4-hatch Hydra, but this is the more economic way of doing this, where you'd be basically threatening the Ogre Zerg of lots of Scourge, lots of Mutas, but really just making enough to come in there, cause a lot of harassment, taking out 1 probe at a time with these 5 Mutas. 5 times 9 is enough to kill a probe. Has the 2 Scourge to make a connection. Beautiful catch on that Corsair as well. Now there's 5 Mutas versus 2 Corsairs, and 5 Mutas beat 2 Corsairs, so actually now Saxon could turn and start fighting these Corsairs as well, and Bisu will be too happy about that. He will lose another Corsair to these Mutalisks, and that's going to be great for Sanctuary just before the other Corsair popped out. Now can do a runaway, but there's going to be a little bit of chase micro from the neutron flares of those Corsairs, softening up those Mutas a little bit, but some additional Scourge coming out will be able to ward away those Corsairs and maybe even catch a couple.
Here we go. He's going to catch these Corsairs. Gets another kill there. And this is going to force Bisu to actually keep making Corsairs. While back at home, Saxtree, I think full transition into Hydra is coming. So this is actually fantastic right now from Saxtree. He's going to fall back with these Mutas. Just keep them at home, I think. And the Hydras are starting to pop here. I'm feeling a little bit scared for Bisu. We might see a bus come through. We still don't have a... what's this, a Templar Archives. So once oh, there it is. So Templar Archives is coming down, but the storm is so far away. If a big rush of Hydras comes out across the map, Bisu will be forced to build like 6 cannons. He's gonna have to build a huge amount of cannons. That's gonna slow him down massively, and I don't think these Corsairs are gonna get any damage here. Just too many Hydras, and the Overlords are gonna be in a good defensive position. This is amazing defense as well, bringing the drones here to stop everything. Oh, he did build some more Mutas. I'm a little bit surprised by that. He did see how many, or there were 2 Stargates, right? So I'm a little bit shocked by that.
I don't know. I'm not sure about the thought process behind that. I think maybe he felt like he sniped enough Corsairs that he could still overwhelm the air battle. I think it's a little bit of a mistake from Sanctuary, honestly, to make these additional Mutas. I could make an excuse for him and say maybe he's trying to do this to keep the Corsairs busy because he wants Bisu to chase the Mutas rather than go hunting for Overlords right now, because if he loses too many Overlords, he can get supply blocks to a point where he can't make enough Hydras to still win the ground fight. So there is a small possibility that maybe he wants to kind of play distraction with these Mutas right now and just keep the Corsairs busy while he's building up a huge flood of Hydras back at home, because if he didn't do that, maybe the Corsairs would come in with the Zealots and start to kill all the Overlords, maybe.
I wonder, but I have seen the moves where take that group of Mutas and send it all the way around the map, like at the edge of the map, and then right as the Corsairs come into your base, fly into the main base of the Protoss, and he's only going to have 1 cannon there because he thinks that he's safe actually from Mutalisks because he's built so many Corsairs. But the Mutas fly in, they start killing probes and forcing the probes to stop mining in the main, and then the Corsairs have to go back home. And that way you keep your Overlord safe and you do a bunch of damage. But he didn't do that. He kind of flew through the middle of the map. He actually got caught by the Corsairs. He tried to fight and then he ran away. So this is a little bit strange to me from Saxtree. Now going to push forward. I love the Spore because he's bringing all his Overlords with him. He leaves the Spore at home just in case there's a DT. And now he can actually move out with confidence here with the DT, with the Spore and the Sunken at his natural to defend against that DT. He's going to push up here and look at all the cannons that have to be built right now. So many cannons are being built. He does not have a Storm. Running forward here, he kills the first Templar. Huge kill there. Can he actually break through right now?
He actually can break through, yeah. The Sim City is good enough to hold off this for just a little bit. There's only 1 storm available to him. The research not yet finished on that storm. Cannot yet storm. Now, lurkers being made in the face of Bisu, acting as a temporary wall, so these Zealots cannot even get good enough surface area on these Hydras as well. Going to be coming in. Finally, a storm comes out from Bisu, taking out 5 of those Hydras, but it's not really the most cost-efficient storm of all. He's going to lose this gateway in a few moments, and eventually lurkers going to maybe start hatching out and start to set up a little bit of a contain as well. It's a little bit of a bad news bears situation for Bisu as the lurkers finally hatch out of their eggs and are now going to start to contain his position, take out the forge and come in there and then just start to take out more and more of these cannons as they warp in, not getting the value he wanted from this investment.
Oh man, Saxtree is just dominating Bisu right now. He's sending in all of these Hydras, and I don't think there's a robotics bay right now, or a robotics at all. and probably no observatory. So if he kills this last cannon, then the lurkers can run forward. There's nothing. Yeah, there's the robotics right now. He's trying to build that up, but one more cannon here. That's all he needs to pick off, and then he can just kill everything. He can just come forward with the lurkers and absolutely massacre this, and he might just dive forward with the lurkers alone. Try to pick this off. He's actually going to gun down these Templar. Templar being targeted here. He's just out of range of some of these cannons. Cannons are going to go down here. Another wave of Hydras hits the front. He's going to break through. All the cannons are dead. Now the lurkers can move forward, and GG is called. Bisu taps out. Oh, my God. Bringing out the specialist. They brought out the specialist to take down Saxry. It's not enough.
This guy's insane. What are we seeing from Saxry lately? He's on fire.
Wow, guys, watch out for Saxry in this next ASL. He has been putting in the hours. You can tell that he is ready, that he has been practicing like a madman for this matchup in particular, man. Saxry just insane. What a pick from Hero, dude. He has been just showing up just massively in this tournament. We're going to jump into our next game. Whew, coming off of a hot one there. Jeez. Now we're going into Mong versus Mighty. I'm still thinking about that Saxry game, though. God damn. I'm going to be looking for replays from him just for builds to copy, man. This guy's crazy.
Crazy, saying like hot off the press with these games. I don't even know what to make of it. Like, this guy is like a really solid macro guy, and he's doing these like really high level execution plays that like usually a cheese kind of level of player would be going for, but he's doing it with the kind of the mechanics and thought process of a macro player, while also executing at the high level of someone like, say, Zealot would be doing. So it's really interesting to see how this player is starting to like figure out his style more and learn how to be this kind of like reactive and adaptive kind of aggressive macros, kind of like something like Action, but a bit more modern.
Yeah, if he can perform like that in an ASL, dude, I think he's going to go very, very far. But let's talk about these two players. We've got Mong here in the bottom right, Mighty in the top left, and Mong has been putting out a lot of great games, and this is actually his best matchup.
By far, absolutely by far. He's an absolute powerhouse of a TVP macro god. I would like to see how Mighty will even try to fight him off if the mid to late game phase starts to become underway. So I feel like Mighty might have to go for something geared towards that in mind and try and take an early lead, or if not a win against Mong in this matchup. But I could be wrong. Maybe Mighty feels confident in himself and will take this to a super late game, but I just don't see it happening. I feel like he has to kind of take an early victory over Mong here.
Oh, I feel like he's already kind of done that, right? He's gone for the Nexus first, and so far he's getting away with it. And I mean, as Mong, I think you have to punish here, right? Like, this is a single gate after, you know, gate gas right into core, super greedy. He's even blocking the natural here. Like, this man is, you know, he's taking it all. He's not giving anything back. And
right,
yeah, Mong, I mean, he's not pulling any SCVs yet, but he's doing a little harassment here. He's trying to get a probe if he can. Oh, he's gonna hop the Marine. He's gonna get the Marine. He's gonna get it. Oh, we've seen this versus Zerg before, but never versus Protoss, and I think we're about to see why. He just hops over one probe and looks like he's gonna get taken out. I think this probe can just hop back with a pylon. So, I mean, it worked out. He got one probe, but I don't think this is the damage that he needed.
Yeah, it's definitely not the kind of damage he would like to look for there. Ideally, he would like to frustrate Mighty by forcing him to have to continuously drill over probes after losing maybe one or two there, but instead can be cleaning that up nicely. And now also maybe getting... Oh, he's not going to get a shot from the Vulture immediately, though. So the Vulture can actually come in and put a lot of pressure onto Mighty. Mighty desperately trying to block it with the probe. Does block for a time being, but not able to stop the Vulture getting into the main base. So a couple more probes tries to catch the Vulture with the probes, not able to do so. Now it could be Mongo snatching up a few more probe kills, shuffles down the Vulture just barely enough, blocking the particle beam from making the connection to finally kill another probe as well. So finding quite a lot of probe kills there in the main base zone.
That was a really good move by Mong, but that really comes down to Mighty just being a little bit too greedy. Like, he's been the entire game so far, right? If he just leaves his Dragoon in his natural like that between the eggs there, he would have been 100% fine, but he wants to send it out immediately. Monk's going to punish that. He didn't punish the Nexus first, but he definitely punishes you sending your Dragoon out. And he gets in there with the Vulture. He's going to run by once again. There should be another Dragoon popping out shortly, but he's going to get a few more probes here.
Wow.
Coming back in once again. There's the Dragoon popping out. Mine's going to get thrown down. I don't think this one connects on anything. But, yeah. I mean, gets a probe. I don't know. Was that worth it, Shin? I'm not sure.
It's actually not worth it, no saying. But I do like the attempt from Monk, because he understood the timing of when the Goon was popping out, so he wanted to go for a checkmate play of killing the Dragoon as it popped out of the gateway, and then getting more probe kills in the main base. That would have probably put him into a game-winning position here. So I can't really fault him for going for the play, but it does afford him less map control going forward now. So it does make him a little bit less safe, a little bit more hesitant to make any more kind of crazy plays for the time being. But I don't actually hate him going for that, because he got the early damage with that Vulture. I feel like going for the gamble there to kind of get like game-ending damage might have been worth it.
Yeah, he would have looked like an absolute genius if that Dragoon had popped out like maybe 3 seconds later, because he got the first mine down before it popped, and then the second mine would have come down. Dragoon would have popped out to a very warm welcome. 2 mines to the face, died, and then the Vulture could have gotten in. And now he's going to get Vultures into the back of the base here for Mighty. He's going to drop these behind the mineral patches back here, and he could start to kill a bunch of probes, I think. Maybe he'll drop 1 or 2 back here, and then send the rest into the main base. And Mighty's kind of out on the map right now. He's got a few Dragoons kind of in his natural, but more probes damage here. Mong making magic happen here, and look at his name, Nova Mong Magic. He's getting in there, doing magical work with these Vultures. He's gonna get a few more kills here before this last Vulture goes down, but this has already been a ton of pressure put onto Mighty.
Yeah, there's already been enough damage here done to Mighty to frustrate his position. He's still not by far lost the game, but he's definitely kind of had his early advantage wiped off the script, so to speak, and now he doesn't have this kind of like easy, cushy game that he's going to be able to navigate into a strong mid game. Now things are a little bit more questionable for Mighty going forward, and there will be additional Vulture harassment coming up from Mong. Another 3 Vultures getting loaded up into that dropship. Going to be swinging around to the back of the natural expansion once again. He will not try to get to the main base with this dropship. He will just try and land the Vultures here, but he might get caught. The Dragoons are actually shuffling over. If Mighty was quick enough, could have caught that dropship, but didn't know it's quick enough. Instead, going to be trying to destroy all of these Vultures before they can get out of range of these Dragoons. Oh, the mine connections on the Dragoons, though, not really efficient for Mighty. Losing a little bit more than he should have, and now losing some of these probes as well. This is going really good for Mong. I can't believe Mighty's even letting this happen right now.
Woo, that was a lot of damage. So many probes went down there. Look, there's no probes at this next base. Huge amount went down there, and he lost some Dragoons as well. God, Mong is just killing it right now with these Vulture plays, and Mighty is having a real struggle to deal with all the dropping that is coming here from Mong. And now Mong starting to move out on the map. You know, he delayed siege mode by a long time because he had these mines out early and he was doing all this damage. He didn't really have to get into siege mode for quite some time. He's going to pick up these tanks right now. What is he going to do with those? That is a very injured dropship. I would be I'd be really concerned about landing that in the wrong spot. You could end up losing those tanks. 2 tanks going down would be brutal. Okay, he's going to bring it back here and repair it. That is a good move, I think. You don't want to be flying around with a red HP dropship with 2 tanks inside, let me tell you that.
I had a feeling that maybe he saw the observer and he wanted to threaten the possibility of the tanks coming over and sieging this 12 o'clock expansion, just to keep the Dragoons pinned back on Mighty's side of the map for the time being, and just for map control purposes. I think he wanted to kind of just add an element of like uncertainty for the time being and not actually go for that. And maybe he will go for that eventually, but I have a feeling that maybe initially he just wanted to scare Mighty.
That would be a big brain maneuver. Now we've got Reavers here coming in towards the main base. I think a Dragoon in there as well. A single turret gonna pop up just at the right time as the shuttle is planning to come in. The dropship at the same time gonna hit the main base. There are 2 Dragoons here in the main, but that's not enough to take on 2 tanks, especially with a bit of juggling. You could, dodge the shots. Oh no, he's got Vultures in here, so he did drop out the tank and then switch them out for some Vultures. Gonna get 1 probe, maybe a second. No, he actually falls back to throw down some mines. I'm not sure what that was all about, but He throws down mines here, and he's going to lose that vulture attack here. He's still got the tank in there, I believe. Maybe he'll come back in a little later to drop it at the very back. Potentially, like, you can't actually get dragoons back in the top left, can you? If you drop a tank back there, that might be a little bit annoying.
You can still deal with it, but it is very annoying to deal with. Yeah, it'd still be very frustrating. Oh, the Wraith is going to get on top of the shuttle. Desperately going to unload the Dragoon to ward that away. Gets a decent amount of damage on that shuttle. Starting to get into the hull point. 64 HP remaining. Here come the vultures though to kind of checkmate the shuttle. The Goon can't really deal with the Wraith if the vulture's there to help defend. It does get enough damage on that Wraith to ward away the paper plane though. Reaver also going to help get those vultures. A nice little mini game here from Mighty and Mong, really showing like the depth of this matchup and how interesting these little skirmishes can end up between these two players. They will have similar amounts of units at certain phases of the game, and they'll be very good at controlling these kinds of units at these certain phases. Both of them understand the matchup very well. It's why we see this multi-tiered harassment from Mong this entire game, understanding the time that Mighty wants to transfer his probes or wants to, like, do certain things. Like, both players trying to exploit each other as much as possible here, and they're really showing their caliber.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really cool mini game back and forth between these two. And if you don't know exactly what to do in those situations, you just lose everything. Everything dies on either side, right? The other player will just outplay you, and you'll lose either your Reaver and your shuttle, or you will lose all your vultures and your Wraith. But both players knowing what to do, handling it very, very well, and coming out even. It's a really cool thing to see. And now Mong pushing forward. He's going to take his third out here at the front. I really like this position for your third as the Terran player, rather than the back third base. I think this is a really good spot for Mong.
Right. Yeah, I think this is not as good at dealing with maybe storm harass, but I think this is way better at dealing with pretty much anything else that you could possibly deal with. So I really do like this from Mong going forward. He is slightly behind the curve, ever so slightly because of the early game, but I think with all the damage he's done throughout the rest of the game, I think he's evened it out enough that he can just sit back now and kind of force Mighty to make the mistakes and try and punish them when they do transpire.
Yeah, I'm going to start to throw down some turrets here over at that pocket third base, and eventually he'll be able to take that behind this third, and he'll get into 4 bases. He can sit back, relax here, and really power up into a max Terran army with good upgrades. He has 2 Wraiths now. This is interesting. So I talked to Artosis, and I did a bit of casting with Artosis in the BSL, and he was telling me that players... they used to go for about 3 cloak Wraiths, but it's been going down to 2 recently. The meta's been shifting down in number, which I thought that they would be making more Wraiths, actually, as time goes on with that cloak. Like 4 or 5 Wraiths was going to become meta for sniping shuttles in these type of situations. But he was saying that actually going down to about 2 has become more and more popular. And there's 2 right here. So I'm proving that statement correct. 3 shuttles making their way over to the right-hand side. How long does it take 2 Wraiths to kill 3 shuttles?
It seems like some kind of like quiz question that not many people could answer correctly, saying, and not quick enough, I imagine, saying, as these shuttles make their way over the turrets though. So one will die quick, and the other one actually getting taken out as well. That's crazy unlucky for Mighty, losing pretty much all 2 shuttles for free, and the third one getting sniped with only 2 zealots coming into the main base to try and solve this position. But he did kill some of these turrets, so if he does want to come in here for another poor man's recall, he can get this a lot more successful the second time around. So unless Mong does reinforce these positions, he can now come back in there and do a much more successful attempt at maybe a storm drop or something later on. So Mong does have to remake these turrets.
Yeah, Mong just handling that perfectly. And we actually saw the result there, or the aftermath of the earlier mini game that we were talking about, right? All that damage that was done by the Wraith earned him a kill on that shuttle a little bit later as it tried to fly in. The first shuttle went down, obviously sending the higher HP shuttle first to tank the turret shots, but the second shuttle got picked off on the way into the main, and that's a big, big win for Mong. Now transitioning into Arbiter here for Mighty. How do you feel about this transition now? Is it going to come in time?
It's slow, honestly, and it's also, I think, suboptimal. I think he needs to stay more on Gateway Man with Storms rather than switching into Arbiter. But maybe he doesn't feel like he has much a choice. He needs to get into recalls. Maybe he feels that way. I don't think it's going to be good enough though. And he's catching, using all these probes. This beautiful Vulture raid from Mong. He's just so on top of everything. I don't know if he's like got map hack on or something, or he's just like somehow is turning into Flash in TVP and has this like star sense where he just knows whenever you're going to probe transfer, or he's just doing the most beautiful scans. I don't know exactly what's going on in this game, but it seems like Mong has got Mighty's number and he's like bought like several phones to like dial him like at all hours of the day.
Yeah, that's definitely true. He's gonna catch this probe going down to the bottom left as well. God damn, Mong. Just absolutely knowing this man like the back of his hand here. He's pushing forward, taking that pocket third now, transferring workers over there, but he's already almost maxed out and ready to push. I think that Mighty here is going to get caught in a transitionary period as he's starting to make arbiters. He's going to get hit with this massive force of tank mech army here. This is a scary move forward. Looks like Mong just moving into a defensive spot right now, but this will very soon turn into an offensive attack here, I think, from Mong.
Yeah, Mong is taking the bare minimal amount of space. He knows he doesn't want to come out too much. He comes in for some beautiful high Templar snipes with these vultures as well, catches off those, and now there's not much splash damage available to Mighty to fight off the further push from Mong. And look how Mong is like kind of stretched out across this arm along the southern ridge here. He understands this strong positional advantage. With this cross in the center of the map, it's very difficult for the pros player to come in here for a pincer maneuver. So he's trying to increase the surface tension of his army by forcing Mighty into a very uncomfortable position here. And now he's going to use this cross in the center map to come onto the western side and just isolate this army, forcing it into a frontal engagement. There's not enough splash damage to deal with it. Some D-matrices as well, the tanks as well, going to make those tanks even more deadly as they soak up the damage from those Psionic Storms. Even though they're doing true damage to these Terran units, with the D-matrix kind of negating that damage, there's really nothing you can do to stop the tanks just rolling forward with their +3 attack upgrade, just melting your army.
Yeah, he's moving here towards the rally point of Mighty as well. Second rally point has not been set up just yet. Gonna drop some storms here. Great snipe on the first Templar. Second Templar does get a nice storm. A third storm here. Fourth storm going down on a lot of these units, but Mighty's running out of a ground army here, and Mong is continuing to push forward. His army supply is getting a little bit dangerously low here, only 156, but he's rallying pure Vulture across the map, so those rallies are going to come in very fast, and the tank number is still high enough that he can continue this push, hitting the pocket third here of Mighty now, and taking the center of the map at the same time. I love Mong's play. He's got so many science vessels here to drop D-Matrix on all of this just to prevent the storms from actually dealing damage. He's starting to break through over here to the center left.
Yeah, and with this command center going up in the center, he's getting a little bit more juice in the tank as well to keep these vultures churning out. Because as you can see, his minerals is drying up, and he's maintaining a big bank of gas. So taking the center expansion makes a lot of sense for Terran players. See how he's able to just come in and roll on these positions and attack Mighty like left, right, and center. But all he's got to do is just make the safest expansion possible, which is the center of the map, because that's basically where his rallied units are running past right now. And then he's getting the minerals to make these vultures, and so he's also attacking while defending at the same time. It's like a really cost-efficient way of playing Terran on maps like this, and he's doing a great job of it. And there's nothing really Mighty can do to respond to this. He's trying to desperately max out on this pure Zealot Goon army composition, which is not going to deal well with this huge minefield that's been set up by Mong and this big spread of tanks. He's going to go for it anyway. Here comes the Zealots trying to run out and sweep the mines as best as they can to clear up some space for the Dragoons to come in and try and get some surface area to work with. Some High Templars coming out the shuttle as well, trying to get a stop. Nobody to do so, going to be taken out before the storm even goes off. Mong is just absolutely on fire right now, destroying the position of Mighty. Mighty can't really do anything in this position, Sam.
Yeah, that was a meat grinder that Mighty walked into. He did a good job of dropping Zealots on top of some of those minefields and clearing out a lot of that, and he's actually prevented this Nexus from going down thus far. He's also got some gateways up in the top right, but look at his bank just drying out. He had nearly 2,000 minerals just moments ago, but he spent all of that, and his supply is not looking good. 150 to 200. Mong is just about close this one out. Mighty's going to have maybe one more attack to try and break out of this bad position, but I don't think it's going to work, and he's even going to lose all the probes over here at this fresh base. All these probes are going to end up going down. They're actually not mining right now. You might as well mine with those, but he's not. Those are just going to end up dying without bringing in any more minerals for him. And I think we're just about to see Mighty tap out here.
Yeah, he's barely got enough forces that he can break out of this contain on the western flank, so he will be able to break out at this moment, but there is enough standing army for Mong to kind of reconsolidate, come back in and engage once more. As we see, Mighty will successfully break out for the time being, but now watch the reinforcing army come in from the eastern flank now and just kind of make Mighty a scared little ape. If he had a tail, this ape would have its tail between his legs. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a tail, just some fur and shaking paws right now because there's nothing he can do. No matter any kind of chimp scratches he throws at Mong is not going to be successful. I think Mong is starting to get a taste for Protoss. We usually see him eat the Zergs up, but now he's starting to get a taste for Protoss blood. And look at that. GG, well played. Mong, absolute beast of a player. So,
ooh, 3-0 already, guys. Team Hero just dominating right now. We've got Cadenzi coming out next year. Extractor trick for that 10 pool, I believe. How is she gonna take on her opponent here today, Bora? Or I was blanking on the name there for a second. Looks like she's actually gonna go for 10 hatch. What? Okay, okay.
Yeah, basically a ZVZ build. It's 9 hatch. It's basically 9 hatch, but a little bit more ZVZ orientated. So she will essentially be going for like the 10-10, so she'll be getting the 10 pool and then maybe a 10 gas. I'm not sure the exact timing of that, but I guess she wants to go for very early aggressive Ling play here, trying to get a lava advantage and overwhelm the Terran position. Maybe she's confident in her Ling micro that she will be able to overwhelm Bora here, but I don't know about this. I mean, I would like to see a little bit more mix up here from Denzi, but I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it. If she's used to this style and it works for her, you know, why not use it?
I guess so. I'm in the rare position of actually rooting against Cadenzi right now because I want to see this. I want to see this go on. I don't want to see the end here for Team Bisu. So far, the games have been fantastic. They've all just gone the way of Team Hero so far. So if we end up seeing this one go to a win for Cadenzi, things are it's gonna be the end, right? That's a little bit sad. So hoping that Bora can pull something together. This is not a build that I'm used to. This is not a build that I use either. I haven't really seen this one, so I suspect that it's what you say, that it is indeed a ZVZ build, and maybe this is gonna throw off Bora a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna, you know, change her plans too much. She should be able to just go with her normal build and probably hold on against everything.
Yeah, I think it is possible though that I really do hope that she does make a bunker though, because if she doesn't make a bunker and gets thrown off, and then Denzi makes Lings out of the natural hatchery and she doesn't scout it, she could just die. I imagine she's making a bunker right now. She should be. I still think even if she does make a bunker, she still could get overwhelmed by Denzi as well. I'm curious. I'm a little bit worried that she's not going to make a bunker. She's just going to make a deeper to block, and then Denzi's going to get an easy win.
Well, she's going to get a kill on one of these Marines. A second Marine goes down. A third Marine goes down. God damn. Lings, when targeted on these Marines, just kill them so damn quickly. She's going to kill the SCV as well, making this command center. That is a pain in the butt. At least she can still produce here. Does need that supply depot, and yeah, man, that is a big mistake there, not making the bunker here. I hope she makes a bunker now after losing those few early Marines. I mean, how can you not, right?
Yeah, she's making it now. I'm really speechless that she didn't make this bunker earlier on. She saw the early creep spread from the 10 hatchery. She should have identified the build order and should have made that bunker right away, and none of this would have happened, and she would have been in a pretty okay spot, and actually would have been advantaged to win the game. But now she's actually in a bit of a weird split situation, which is actually behind the curve slightly. So yeah, I don't like this for Bora at all. I feel like she kind of lost the chance at getting an easy advantage here.
I don't like this position on the bunker either. Like, if there was a big Ling swell, this bunker could get surrounded very quickly and killed, and there would be no way to pull the SCVs from the left all the way over here and actually, you know, stop that from happening. So Seeing the Ling speed here, I think you get in that bunker and maybe pull a couple of SCVs, just because she really doesn't. It's not like there is actually a Ling all incoming, but man, it's scary. You don't have any information right now. What is she doing? Oh my god, she's moving out.
That's crazy to me. I'm sorry. I'm speechless by Bora's play right now. I'm like wondering what's going on. Like, I don't know. She's lucky that Denzi isn't doing her usual antics, because Denzi in a lot of situations would have had a lot of Zerglings in that position and would have just ran in and killed her. So she's really lucky and kind of gambling and playing with fire. As you can see, more Zerglings being hatched now by Denzi. She might want to come in here with a few Zerglings to try and soften up these Marines right before the mutas come in here, but I don't think she's going to go for that necessarily. She might just wait for the mutas to come and then use them in conjunction with the mutas to open up these positions and overwhelm Bora that way. And only just now starting to add on these turrets is Bora, so it'll be interesting to see just if she can muster a good defense against Denzi, but Denzi's so far looking pretty good in this game. I feel like she's a definitely advantage to win.
Yeah, she's got the Sunken Colony down. She's got her third base on the way. She should be starting, +1 attack here for these mutas and rallying a bunch of mutas across the map. It's a two hatch play, so she's not going to have the benefit of the extra larva here in the early parts of this game, but she did get that third base rolling. She should be able to get that third gas online. What do you think about the third base position here? She's taking it at the natural instead of the main.
I mean, I like it. It means that she might want to go for she could go for a crazy. Like, just got pounce on top of this bunker. Actually, only 2 Marines in there. Does unload and restim, get back into the bunker, do some extra DPS, but not really going to be doing enough. And the bunker's going to go down in quick succession. And now she's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Kind of forced to overstim her Marines and try and defend up and down these natural expansions. Kind of remake that bunker in a much more tucked in position, but it's a bit of a precarious situation for Bora here, because he's also got his tight choke between the comsat and the supply depot, which makes it very difficult to keep the army flow between the natural and the main going. So can be exploited by Denzi coming here from this northeastern angle. As you can see her taking out this depot. If she wanted to, she could have kept this depot alive and used that angle against Bora as well. Instead, she's just going to go for the supply block guaranteed value play while also going to evolution chamber. So I really do feel like maybe we'll see this kind of like a 3-hatch free gas initially, but and with lurkers, but with taking the natural expansion, I'm curious if she's going to go straight into 4-gas play, or if she wants to maybe go for some kind of strange crazy Zerg play where she kind of does a transition but then goes into very early ultralists.
Yeah, this is interesting. Getting that evolution chamber is a bit curious, and she has the Hydra's Den as well, so as long as she's going for crazy Zerg, she's definitely going to get into lurker. So I'm not sure what's going to come from Cadenzi here. Maybe just a quicker evolution chamber for the upgrades and really fast 4th base, right? She's got the natural at the top right, so maybe she just goes for some sunken colonies up there, maybe a few lurkers, and then immediately into a 4th and immediately up into ultra, just holding with lurker. I think that makes sense to me. The ease of taking that 4th base means that going into ultra faster probably is better. But yeah, there's going to be an opportunity here, as always, for the Terran player to come across the map and maybe punish.
But the interesting thing about it is that one thing she's basically enabling her to do is she's enabling herself to defend with sunken colonies in that northeastern expansion. So it does simplify the game state for her a lot if she can keep the pressure on with these mutalisks and then rely more on static defense back at home if there was kind of counterplay. So it kind of puts us put her in an advantageous position. I don't know if she maybe wants to even go Guardians on this map, because if she wanted to, she could go for a Guardian play here. The way the geometry of this map is set up with these kind of big patches and bodies of water in the center and the way the cliffs are aligned, Guardians are actually pretty effective on this map if you can get the timing right. So maybe she's going to go for a Guardian play here.
I don't think the timing's right for this. The Queen's Nest needed to come down a long time ago, don't you think?
Yeah.
You need to get the Queen's Nest out right away and get into Hive play. Otherwise, the Hive is not even started here. We're at 9 minutes 30. We should be almost done the Hive and, building the Spire, or the Greater Spire, and then going into these Guardians, because eventually we're going to have air units out here for Bora, we're gonna have Irradiates, we're gonna have possibly Wraiths too. So yeah, this is just too late. We've got Lurkers out now. I expect we're gonna be going into a 4th base right away here for Cadenzi, and we're going to go into Ultraless play, and I think that's strong. Let's see what she decides to do here. Coming through towards this natural. She's checking things out. See, oh my god, no, 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 no!
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, that is not what you want to do if you're the Zerg in this situation. That's a pretty dire straits right now. Lost pretty much the entire potency of that Mutalisk flock down to just 5 mutas, of 2 of them close to death as well. So lost most of the power spike in her mobile army right now. It hasn't even started the hive, is Denzi, so I'm not sure what's going on with this, honestly. I'm not sure what, if she forgot that, or she's just literally she's just making queens. Okay, so we're gonna see like kind of Battle Zerg style, pure Hydra Lurker with Ensnare on these bio units to lock them down in position, making it easier for the Lurker spines to overrun them. So I'm guessing we're gonna be seeing some kind of like, you know, fancy finesse play here from Denzi. So kind of doing an interesting style here. Tries to catch his first signs with these little hit squad of Hydras from the northern flank. Have a little lurker there to run back to. Trying to be a little bit cheeky here is Denzi. Not quite coming out on top though. Bora getting the best throw in this engagement.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird. That was, yeah, kind of shocking to see these 2 queens pop out as well. We're going to have some dropships coming in, so actually, Bora kind of playing into Denzi's hands a little bit by not just building up a ton of vessels and just irradiating everything. I think that's probably the best way to go, is just keep on hitting your irradiates, keep on bouncing back and forth, and eventually maybe break one of these positions. But she's sending out dropships, which is countered already. We've got this little hit squad here up in the top right. As long as the the dropships don't find like a little corner at the top left of that base over there and, you know, drop out without the Mutalisk and even knowing about it, I think she should be able to handle this. Okay, she scans, she sees the Lurkers and the Mutas. So I think she's actually going to find a good spot to drop off here. No, she's going to go right in here. All right, does Cadenzi see this? I guess just barely not. And she is going to get the drop off. Yeah, this is bad for Cadenzi now. This drop might actually kill this base.
Yeah, this actually could be really dire for her. She just had these 2 lurkers in a pretty good spot covered by the mutas. Maybe it's just barely enough, but losing all of these units, trying to desperately clear up these bioforce. So far, everything going really bad for Denzi. Does catch that 1 vessel there, but has lost a lot to this drop. And right now, it could be an elevator into the main base, of this top right, over and over again. But finally now, Denzi's starting to reinforce his position and encroach with a few lurkers to try and soften up these bioforces enough that she can come in here and muster a strong enough defense to prevent herself just getting killed right now. But she's in a little bit of a weird situation where Bora, if maybe was more on top of her control, could just come in here and deal this. Does have an additional 2 dropships though coming into the back of this main base in the top right now, unloading a big line of bio to kind of come in here and try and take out this base before Denzi can react.
Yeah, Denzi's really falling apart now. This base is probably going to end up falling. Lurkers are going to run forward. 1 Mutalisk here to tank some damage for those at least, but the Lurkers are not going to be able to save this base. Lurkers being targeted down here, and Cadenzi is going to be dropped back to just 3 base. So whatever plan she had here, where she was going to transition into, I guess, Ultra, but I mean, we still don't have a hive, do we? Do we have the hive finally finished, or what? What's going on here?
We have the hive finally. She had the hive finally. You know, I guess she's gonna make defilers as well as ultras, but I don't know. She hasn't got the economy to do that right now. I think she'll rely on the defilers at this point in the game, but she's in a really weird situation. She's trying desperately to use this Battle Zerg army to the best of her ability. Is trying to catch off some of the reinforcing army in the center of the map here and put on some counter pressure to kind of flip the script a little bit on Bora, but it's too little too late. Bora's already broken open the position, is taking out the natural expansion in the top right, going to be gunning down all of those drones as well. Now Denzi needs damage or she's dead. So now she's desperately coming into this natural expansion with these lurkers and Hydras trying to force some kind of game-ending damage that she can snowball an advantage with her remaining 2 base worth of production, but it's not going to be a strong enough advantage for her to leverage against Bora here. Bora can just defend this position, irradiate the buried lurkers, and basically win the game from here. There's no more threat from Denzi because of the 2 gas production.
Yeah, what happened here with Cadenzi? She does not have an armor upgrade, by the way. No armor here for Cadenzi, which I thought That was the whole point of her build. She went for a really... Okay, now the armor finished up. Okay. We've got 2 attack, 1 armor. But I thought that she went for that very early evolution chamber, and the point of that was going to be to have early armor, but she just didn't have that. I guess maybe it was the early attack instead. Yeah. Now she's got +2 attack, +1 armor. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. She's just fully rallying across the map right now, trying to break this. She's left a bunch of lurkers over in the top right, and she's not actually mining much off of that. So I think she just needs to bring everything here all together and just try to win right now. The hive has done nothing. We don't even have a defiler out. No defilers at all. And we're just trying to break the natural here. Cadenzi is just about out of this game, but she's going to have maybe one last hurrah. Try to actually kill this. Bunch of irradiates going down, and irradiates are really the death of Zerg when you've got this type of situation. They are going to get that value, and oh my god, actually nothing inside these bunkers. That's hilarious. Looks like she's going to kill every SCV up here, most likely.
Well, I'm actually surprised there's nothing in these bunkers, because that does actually give counterplay options to Denzi now, and if Bora doesn't get out of her expansion right now, she could actually lose the game, because Denzi's got defilers coming across the map right now, so... Okay, Bora needs to catch this defiler with this army at the south. If this defiler makes it past this army at the south, she's in trouble. She has 2 irradiates available to her to start irradiating these defilers that are currently en route, but that's not going to be enough. The Marines have to do the rest of the work. Does start the target fire down that last defiler. It's going to be able to catch that, it looks like, so it's going to be able to save the day for the time being. So Bora is still in this game for the time being, has a tank as well on the high ground, going to be starting to push back this contain, but it has lost that free base production while Denzi's retaking the top right. Now Denzi's for some reason trying to make her way into that natural expansion with this pure lurker army. I don't know what she's doing right now. I think she's in pure desperation mode. It's not going to work though, and now she's lost pretty much any potency that she had in this ground army, and she's going to be basically forced to run with the tail between her legs, not really able to do anything from this point on, I don't think.
Yeah, that was a very prudent play there by Bora to get down and you know, cut off any defilers that might be walking across the map. If Cadenzi had brought all of her forces down to ensure that those could make it across, you know, bring all the hydras from the front and leave the lurkers, you know, to hold back the main army of Bora, maybe she could have gotten these defilers up there and actually made that attack work. But now that Bora is released on the map once again, I doubt that there's any situation where Cadenzi is going to be able to take this game. She's going to try and take a base down here at the 6 o'clock, surprisingly enough. She's going to try and get that, and Bora's actually not mining right now, which is a big thing. You know, this command center could actually go down, and there's one lurker here to help prevent these from running up the ramp, but irradiate goes down. This is getting kind of low, but I don't think she's going to be able to get this command center. And eventually she's going to get mining once again. Cadenzi, this is a weird one to call, man. This is strange. Main base is still mining, I guess, for Bora. But Natural's completely mined out. Oh my god, 200 HP on that. 200! Oh, whoa. That was close.
Yeah, that was very close. Yeah, a little bit longer, and she actually would have lost that. Interesting game we're watching right now. He hasn't resecured this northeastern main base, and we'll be taking the 6 o'clock as well. So maybe Denzi's starting to stabilize the position a bit up to 80 supply, can still defend with the forces she has available enough to slowing down its expansion long enough, and also the main base starting to become mined out for Bora over the next 2 minutes as well. Maybe a little bit of a life in the tank for Denzi. I still don't like her chances, but I think she has a chance. I think she still can win, but I don't know. Like, she's not really strong in these late game scenarios. I'm feeling a little bit worried for her.
Yeah, this is bad. She's just dropping a ton of irradiates here. Bora is on all of Cadenzi's units, and the irradiates, like I said, are the kind of Achilles heel for the Zerg player in these like low money situations. You don't really have much. All you're going to be able to do is, you know, just keep building lurkers, and the Terran player can just continuously irradiate you over and over and over again, and you're never going to, you know, be able to stabilize in those situations. The Defiler's going to come up here. We've got one lurker, but again, irradiated. More lurkers coming up here, but the irradiates are just way too strong. They're doing so much damage, and they're just, you know, forcing Cadenzi back over and over again. She's basically just remaking units that are getting hit by these irradiates now by the cloud of vessels. She gotta get a plague down on these vessels right here. Come on, we got a plague. Yes, there we go. Finally getting a nice plague here. Drops are going to come through. Maybe can crack this position down here at the 6. Those 2 drop ships just kind of revealing themselves, but actually not doing anything. Yeah, now she can start to pick off some, maybe pick off some of these science vessels. And if she gets like, you know, all the science vessels that have been plagued, then maybe it gets a little harder for Bora.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically the meat of the standing army of the Terran. Here come the Hydras from the northern flank. Start to target fire down the vessels. Start to get a few of those 1 HP vessels. Pretty much getting all of them, actually. Just get every single one of those low HP vessels. Beautiful investment from Denzi. That's going to pay off. That's going to really stymie the true formidable force of that Terran army. Force it to retreat back over to the western side, waiting for more heavy gas units to be able to leverage against the Zerg. And that's going to buy Denzi some much valuable time once he sets up these this additional base at the 6 o'clock and tries to come out onto the map with another force to see if she can keep some counter pressure on the Terran. I'm not sure this is the wisest choice. She needs a defiler out here with this army to get true value out of it, but so far she seems content to just keep Bora at bay and busy, and still
big plague. Big plague gonna come here. Big plague, big plague, big plague, big plague. Oh, she's gonna get a huge plague there. I think we just missed it. I think we just missed it for the observer. Look at all of these units getting plagued. That's huge. Now this is where you get the real value out of this composition, right? Is once you start just walking in with the defilers and getting those big plagues, then the Hydras can do the dirty work, right, of picking off all these Marines with just 1 hit. I think a lot of these medics are at 0 energy now, and a big force moving up towards the top left. Looks like Bora gonna try to split this map in half with tanks as well now going up here. Wow, these Lings just getting minced, but Garenzi knows about this. She's going to be able to react to it. Getting another base going here, going up to 5 base, and on 5 bases you can produce a lot of Hydras. Like, it's going to get pretty insane, the number of Hydras that are going to be popping out. She's past 100 supply now, still 74 supply deficit. Oh my god, another big plague. Really good play there by Garenzi, and this is the hard part of playing Terran against this, is just keeping your stuff from getting plagued.
You know, Bora had a really good game state and position to play with, but I have to say, Denzi's getting the better of Bora in the execution thus far. These plagues have been just an insurmountable hurdle for Bora to overcome for the time being, I feel like. And yeah, that gives a little bit of life in the sails of Denzi here. Maybe she's not as stranded on the open seas as we once thought. Maybe she's got a little bit of a motor underneath the hood, and she's starting to let rip and see if she can crash through the waves of Bora.
This is not probably going to work out, but I don't see any medics with this army. That's kind of a hilarious looking army here. The more it stims, the worse it's going to be here for Bora. And these lurkers are just slowly moving forward, taking up a little bit more space. Bora buying that time. This drop could be huge, though. Drop coming into the main base. There's nothing here to defend.
Nothing at all.
Kadenzi's going to have to pull everything back, and that's going to open up other positions that could be broken here. And yeah, here comes the Hydras, Lurkers, and Lings, and oh, 1 Hydra on the ramp. Gotta get that moving. Hydra gonna come in here, but the Defiler's Mound was killed. Only 1 medic with this army, so most of these are probably gonna be killed. Where's the Defiler up here at the top left? She needs a Defiler to shut down this base, but she just doesn't have it. Army coming up here to the top right as well. There's a couple of Lurkers here, but I don't see a Defiler there either. And with a couple of good irradiates or maybe a D-Matrix, she should be able to break through this. Where's the Nidus? Do we have a Nidus?
No, I don't think we do have a Nidus, and I think we're in a little bit of trouble here as the Zerg player, as Bora starting to lay siege to this natural expansion. There's nothing here. Nidus now finally going down, but it's going to be too little too late as Bora starts to shred through this natural expansion area. And I don't feel like Denzi's going to be able to do much about it either. I feel like she's going to be reset a little bit here and lose this again. Does have enough units to come in and take out this position in the top left, though. There's no medics we were talking about earlier, so this is a fight that Denzi can actually win, but she's still somehow managing to lose these engagements. So yeah, this is not looking good for Denzi so far. So
yeah, she's on 4 gas, but we're past the 24-minute mark. This is you know, main and possibly natural now mining out of that gas geyser, getting the lurker in position. Gonna clean up this army in the main base, but the army in the main base here did more than we're really seeing on screen, right? It just caused Denzi so much of a headache. She's kind of missing some macro rounds. She's totally forgot about getting a Nidus set up there in the top right base, and I mean, that is almost unforgivable for a pro player. Like, how do you forget that Nidus at this point in the game?
Yeah, it's pretty devastating to not have a Nidus set up at any junction of the game when you're past the mid to late game phase, and she's now going to be in a bit of a kicking herself for not having that set up, because now she's struggling to find any damage done. Using all those units for just a single tank is Denzi. Also desperately trying to take more of these expansions to get more gases online, but she's been reset so many times in this game that I'm not sure there's really too much of a win percentage for her to play for right now. She's going to desperately try and hang on to the 6 o'clock base, but I don't think she can get anything down here to defend in time. There's no Nidus, there's no way she can defend these positions, so she's going to slowly start to lose these expansions as Bora plays a game of whack-a-mole and tries to stamp out the virus before it can spread too fast on the map. We see some of Zenzi's forces making their way to the northwestern quadrant up there, but there's so many siege tanks and bunkers, I'm not sure she can even break through his position.
Yeah, no Defiler here either, so there's really no hope at all. Running up this ramp here against 4 tanks, a bunch of bunkers and marines, plus the turret there as well, just for good measure to make sure that you can spot all of these lurkers as they come up the ramp. Man, that was as one-sided as it gets. Maybe like 1 marine went down. Then basically the entirety of Denzi's army gets wiped out. So we are going to see a Bora victory here finally. This was actually a pretty crazy back and forth though.
Yeah, no, I mean, for a moment there, I was actually kind of worried for Bora. It seemed like Denzi had superior execution and would eventually get the better of the war of attrition with the plagues. It just seems like Denzi's Defiler usage slowed down a lot as time went on, and we didn't really see continued value from those gas units once you start to fall apart a little bit from the counterattacks from Bora. So I feel like we had a missed opportunity there from Denzi, not really like doubling down into those spellcaster units. So instead, I think we are going to be seeing a Bora victory, which is what we want in this situation, though. Saying we're going to be going to more games and more great players playing those games. So I think everyone watching is going to be happy about this result.
Yeah, I think we can be pretty satisfied here with Cadenzi versus Bora. A decent game, and we're gonna get more great plays here. Still, Team Bisu very much on the ropes. It's gonna be up to Tyson, or excuse me, Mini is next, right? And Hero to kind of bring things back. Or, oh, actually, you know what? That is a big concern here, right? Hero is next, and he's on match point versus his opponent. So that is a scary thing. Maybe Mini won't even get a chance to play this week.
It's possible. I mean, at any rate, even if he does play, he might be a little bit demotivated when he does play after his team's performance, like we were talking about at the start of the cast. So.
Yeah, the space in the top right has gone down. Cadenzi taking 6 o'clock, by the way. Might get a gas operational, but look at how slowly the gas is coming in right now. She's mining on 1 gas here, and yeah, Bora's just taking the whole map. She's got 198 supply, so over 100 supply, 110 supply in advantage right now for Bora, which does not bode well for our Zerg player. And oh god, she's not even taking the 6 o'clock. She's like holding it with a whole bunch of units, but she's not even taking that base. So things really not going well right now for Cadenzi.
No, she's marking her territory, but she doesn't have enough money to secure the territory. Instead, she's going to try and secure some kind of pincer maneuver to swallow up his bio, but it's not going to be successful. There's too much D-Matrix available to Bora, even if the pincer was successful. And it's going to be too little too late in dealing with this Terran aggression. And finally, Bora going to be hitting more of these nails into the coffin. And Denzi finally, wisely going to be tapping out. GG is called, and a win on the board for Team Bisu, 3-1. We're not going to be seeing this series ended just yet.
All right, here we go. Hero versus Tyson. This is a match for the tournament life of Team Bisu. This is going to be a very tough battle, though, for Tyson. I don't know if he's up to the task, but we're about to find out here. Hero starting out with a pool, and Tyson starting out with a gateway on high ground here. Put on that pressure, but it's cross map.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see too much successful pressure from Tyson in this game, but he looks like he wanted to have that option available to him, and he did get his close spawns to take advantage of. But with the cross map, I feel like, and the pull first, I really do feel like we're not going to see anything too crazy from Tyson this game. Maybe with that potential pressure, instead just having the strong Zealot force for the mid-game timing and having a slightly larger ground army to deal with the Hydra swell in the early mid-game phase instead.
There shouldn't be too much pressure coming from Hero either, right? Because it is such a long rush distance, and also because we're going to be fighting uphill. So expect a long game here, guys. That's what I'm expecting. Cross map on Tempest usually goes that way, but you know, there are some exceptions to the rule.
Well, one thing we should note is that Hero did just go straight into 6 Zerglings all at once, which does give him some potential to just come across the map here, catch this first Zealot, and snowball into a very early win. So it's possible that we see a very quick win from Hero as well, because Tyson's coming right out onto the map with this first Zealot, and he could just get that surrounded and caught and killed by Hero. But it looks like just barely going to be sneaking out of the view distance range of those Zerglings. So instead, the pressure will be on for the defense, where probes and zealots will be trying to scramble against these initial Zerglings, while also some counterattack coming into the main base of a Hero with these zealot and probe. And now going to get a good run by on the zealot already. 3 Zerglings making their way into the main base, so a lot of multitasking on both sides now. Both sides definitely trying to deal with this really weird situation. Catches the first probe in the main base. Now probe gets targeted down. Beautiful drill from Tyson. They're going to be mitigating that and killing 2 Zerglings in the process while coming into the main base with this Zealot. And probe going to be putting some counter pressure of his own. Did he just kill his own probe there? I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like not being able to get much done in the main base and kill some drones, but did do a good job of mitigating any potential disaster in the main base there. It's Tyson.
Yeah, that was crazy back and forth. Like, a lot was going on. Tons of multitasking here on both sides. We're coming out pretty even so far. I mean, 1 probe was lost. No drones were lost, but a lot of lings were forced back at home. Plus, we went for those early 6 lings. So there's not been a lot of drones produced here for Hero. A lot of lings. And he still has to kind of stay back at home right now just to make sure that no future zealots are going to wander their way into this natural and main. Third base is on the way at the front for Hero, so this position on the third base makes me want to lean towards Hydraless pressure, but we'll still have to see what Hero's plan is right now. He's not much of a Hydraless bust kind of guy. He's more of a macro player for sure.
Yeah, he definitely will probably avoid wanting to throw down the Hydra Den if he can help it. He may even just elect for making more Zerglings here, but I imagine he will just make a lair and go forward that way. But so far doing a pretty good job of catching good surface area on these Zealots and forcing them to back off over and over again, while also trying to come in with a flank now to try and isolate these units and take them out as cost efficiently as possible. Tyson did do a good job of softening up those lings while not losing the zealots, but now finally they will be dealt with in quick order, since they did get reduced down to red HP very fast. So now Hero are going to be swallowing up the remaining zealots, and it will kind of embolden Hero to maybe consider some kind of a follow-up play, but I don't think he'll be tempted by it. I think he will just make drones no matter what in this situation, and he would be wise to do so, even if there was a chance at overwhelming this position and winning.
Yeah, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think that you can do like a fake Hydra bust here as Hero either, right? Because the high ground, you can't just like park in front of the base and try to just kill the wall. You have to go all in. Like, you have to run up that ramp and try to actually kill the cannons if you're gonna do a bust like that. So that this means that, you know, as long as we're not gonna die here for Tyson, as long as we're not worried about like straight up death, we don't really need to worry about any Hydras being produced right now. We're just gonna get into our game, and I think it's a proper assumption here to just assume that mass drone is coming from Hero and he's going to go into a normal game.
Well, there was a very technical play available to Hero in that moment with the single cannon and only 3 zealots, and and the way the game state was set up, low drone count and high lava count, Hero could have gone for a 3-hatch Ling Flood and actually drilled 2 to 3 drones into the natural expansion of Tyson to drill through the Zealots to open up the position and use a Ling Flood to end the game. But Hero's just not the kind of player that would gamble on something like that, even if he had a fairly high chance of success. So instead, we're just going to see a very strong macro play from him. But I actually think that there's some windows to be exploited in these situations where pros players are actually quite flimsy to some kind of like gimmicky plays from the Zerg if the Zerg player's feeling it.
Yeah, that's definitely out of Hero's wheelhouse. That's not his MO. So he's going to go straight up here to 6-hatch Hydra. I don't see a Hydra's Den just yet, and a second gas is here, so he will probably pop 5 Muta and a couple of sunken colonies to make this transition, but this is just pure standard play out of Hero, and I expect nothing less here. Scourge are going to see this Corsair. 2 are going to be sent back. The other 2 are going to go across the map for that scout, and sunken colonies just about done here. Lings are going to buy that time, and Hydras should be coming down in short order. I still don't see that Hydra Den, though. Is he actually going to go full Muta here?
I mean, it's possible he'll go pure on Ogre Zerg, yeah. I mean, he took his second guess fairly early as well. Took his third guess even earlier. So I would argue that, yeah, we're going to be seeing full on Ogre Zerg style from him. Just pure Muta, Scourge, Ling for the time being. He will maybe having to defend as well because he's catching these Corsairs with these initial Scourge is going to be a huge boon to him. The Muta's already engaging these Zealots, putting some DPS down to them, shaving off their shields, making them even less potent as they come in for these counterattacks with the Sunken Colonies already set up. He's going to be mining these gases a little bit inefficiently, but the Sunken Colony position is just so hard for him to come in. But some beautiful surround with these Zergs as well, plugging up the hole before the Zealots can actually make their way fully into that expansion area, getting as much DPS down onto those Zealots as possible. He's going to coming down to the third base to try and take down that Sunken Colony. As you can see, the way the Sunkens are positioned, he can drill very easily with these drones and get maximum value at defending these Sunken. So far, though, beautiful target firing from Tyson, almost getting this other Sunken, not quite getting it. Maybe he can get it one more hit on that side blade, not quite able to do so. They're beautiful drilling from Hero, going to deny that final side blade, making the connection. It's going to save that Sunken as well. So pretty much maximum optimal trades for Hero in this situation. So
yeah, beautiful trading there, and now ahead in supply. This is scary right now for Tyson. Quite a few Zealots are still out on the field, and there's no additional Sunken just yet. So as these Mutas come in, I think he'll send the Zealots to attack. But Hero is still producing units back at home. He's got more Sunkens on the way. The natural is going to be the target here for these Zealots, but actually Ling here blocking. Ooh, we got an Overlord over top of that as well. And now with the Evolution Shaper here, it's even harder to get these Zealots inside the mineral line. There we go. He's targeting down some drones, but Hero is just looking so good here. He's going to be able to remake those drones no problem. There's no real threat of a massive push coming out right now from Tyson, so he can really get into his game. He can get into that macro game that he loves, and tracking down these Zealots is also a big bonus, picking all of these off, and there's no way that Tyson can move out with his Scourge right now, or with his Corsairs right now. There's too many Scourge and way too many Mutas to fight.
I love the mechanics of Hero as well. Like, he's confident to like chase down these units while still going through his macro cycles. And now going to come into the main base, might be able to catch all of these Corsairs for more or less free as they zone out the forces, taking down the High Templars as well, not even allowing them to morph into an Archon. Going to be shaving those off with the Mutalisk Glaze instantly. And now the Dragoons can be turned on as well. Mutalisks do win against Dragoons in a straight up fight, so Dragoons not going to be a good choice of unit here to help deal with this threat. And now going to be shaving off so many of these probes in the mineral line over and over again as the volleys come in. So many probes have gone down. Over a dozen probes have died now. So currently supplies favoring Hero by about 30 almost. So that's indicative of a very strong lead. And I don't really feel like Tyson's going to have much life in this game going forward here. More additional evolution chambers being thrown down by Hero. Hero knows he's been more or less of a guaranteed winning game state right now, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes and he just doubles down in all of his tech and his economy and his macro over and over again. This is not going to be enough cost efficient way of dealing with this threat right now. He's going to force a bad trade out of Tyson by coming up here and trying to bait out some more additional storms, force him to put his dragoons out onto the map a little bit, come over here to this natural gas and swing back around into the main base and come back in for round 2. And it's not going to be enough defenses set up in time to deal with these mutants.
Ah, man, this is not good. He's going to lose that Corsair again. Too many mutas here. He's going to kill the cannon. I think Tyson maybe goes for a counterattack. No, he's pulling all his dragoons all the way back into the main base to try and defend this. And yeah, this is just too bad. He's going to lose way too many probes. The dragoons are having a hard time making their way through the Sim City. Picks off the Templar here as well. Takes some damage from the storm, but this is just domination right now from Hero. There was some chances for Tyson to get some damage, but he held off everything so darn well. The drone drilling to keep the sunken colonies alive during all the chaos meant that he was able to, really drone up behind that. He didn't need to produce too many forces, and now he's going to surround here with Lings and Mutas and just start to really rip this army apart. The Dragoon's just not very good at taking out these Lings, so if he gets a big surround and kills this Dragoon force, this game is 100% over. There's not much behind this for Tyson, and the world is his oyster right now. He's taking a 4th base, he's taking a 5th base, so he's double expanding just to make sure one of these bases gets up, and he's going to come back into the main once again, doing another counterattack here, going to kill all the probes. Not even going to go for this counterattack here. Tyson taps out. GG is called as the counterattack comes through one last time. Alright, I apologize, guys. I keep messing this up, forgetting how many games are supposed to be played here. A little bit tired in the mornings. Don't really have any other excuses, but we are now 4-1 right now with this Sharp versus minigame. And now it's match point, so I can say that with confidence.
Yep, this is going to be match point for Team Hero going forward, Sam. Unfortunately, we would like to see more games, but any mistake now from their lineup is going to be lights out for them and their team. So wouldn't like to see that. I would actually like to see Team Hero force BC to go all the way here and maybe lose a few games. But Mini, he's probably not feeling it right now. He's 4-1 down. He's probably like a little bit annoyed at his team that they've kind of like fallen by the wayside a little bit and not really performed to his expectations. And he's kind of like he gave the armband away to Bisu, right? Like he stepped down from his captain position and now he's in a purely player mindset and he needs to perform now more than ever. And I don't think he's going to be feeling the energy right now.
Yeah. An emotional player, as you said, Mini. He's feeling down and out, I'm sure, at this point. His team is not performing. Even if I'm sure he's thinking, even if he wins this game, what are the chances he's going to get a spin that's going to be good for his team? Is he going to be able to get a roulette spin after this? Very doubtful. And even his team captain, who he gave the armband to, hasn't been able to take a victory this week. So this is rough. This is very, very rough. And Mini, that might be affecting his mental state right now. We're not going to give him too many excuses, though. He still needs to perform here, even under pressure. If you're a professional player, you've got to put those things aside, put those things out of your mind, and really put out a good game here.
I would like to see it. I mean, when he does perform, he can perform so exceptionally well. He is a talented player, and when he's at his best, he really does shine. Whether or not he's going to be able to deal with the cutting blade of Sharp in this game will have to remain to be seen. But I think Sharp's going to give him an easy game. And he's going to give him a run for his money no matter what happens. And I have a feeling that we might even see Mini fall apart if he can't navigate this. I think we're going to see some kind of vulture drop play from Sharp, and I feel like Mini's not going to deal with it very well.
Well, Sharp is well known for his drops and his vulture play. One thing to mention, guys, Sharp came to the most recent PSL event. I got to meet him, got a photo with him. He's a very nice guy, very, very talented. I got to stand behind him and watch him play. I even got to watch him play some KCM as well. I don't think I got to see this game specifically, but I got to watch him play in the KCM, and he had quite a bit of lag. So he's probably lagging a little bit right now, actually, versus Mini. But that also could tilt Mini, right? Mini could be a little bit tilted here just by the fact that there might not be turn rate 24 right now.
I would like to be hearing what Mini would be saying with the lag as well, because it would be very frustrating to have to play against like one of the only players that would have lag in this situation as well. So it would be a really annoying situation to have to deal with.
And the Vulture's going to come in here, make its way into the main base because the Dragoon was busy dealing with that probe there in the mineral line, and it looks like he's going to get some early damage as well. Oh no.
Ooh.
Man, Mini is not having a good day today.
No, I mean, only 2 went down, so there are some Terran players that would argue that 1 Vulture for the first 2 probes is not worth it, and that they'd actually rather the 3 mines out on the map in terms of overall value. But there are some Terran players that would take those 2 probe kills every day of the week, so it depends on which side of the fence you swing, I guess.
Looks like this Dragoon took a lot of damage as well. Did it like walk into the bunker or something? I'm not sure, but it is just about dead here. 30 HP, not much remaining there. And if you, in a moment of chaos, like maybe as you're sending in that next Vulture, if you happen to, you know, pull the Marines out of the bunker and try to surround with SCVs, you might be able to kill that. So we'll see if Sharp tries to pull a move like that. He's dropping some mines here in front of Mini's natural, and if Mini sends out the next Dragoon across the map, oh god, he's got nothing here. If Sharp sends in this Vulture right now, he would actually get so much damage. Okay, there's the next Dragoon. Is it going to be sent straight across the map? If it does get sent across the map, he could just lose that, and then I think that would be a great trigger for Sharp to just come in, start to deal some damage.
I'm hoping that every fiber of Mini's body is telling him not to do that, and that he has a good enough game sense that he won't make that play. Instead, we see some pretty good hold position micro from him, trying to gun down these Marines efficiently. There's 1 mine laid, though, and here's the trap is sprung, and going to be getting a beautiful connection with that mine, taking out 1 of the Dragoon and softening up the other 2 as well. Now the rest can get easily taken down by the fragmentation grenades of those chasing Vultures as well. Not going to be able to get away is Mini right now, and also the additional Dragoon that was in the center of the map going to be caught as well. It does take out 1 of those Vultures, but now another Vulture makes his way into natural expansion, tries to get past into the main base, but a beautiful pro block from Mini, not going to do that. But another mine detonation on those Dragoons going to be softening up this infantry force more and more. Only a single Dragoon right now with these probes trying to defend zone.
Yeah, this is brutal, man. Mini is just about down and out at this point. He's got 1 shuttle heading across the map. Does he have a Reaver in there? I think he would be bringing the Reaver to defend right now, right? There's only 1 Dragoon, 1 Zealot here. And we've got some Vultures, we've got some tanks, some Marines as well mixed in, some more factories coming down. Yeah, this is just going to be sent back home to pick up the Reaver finally. I'm not sure where that was headed, but it's been brought back now. He's going to pick up the Reaver and try to bring himself back in this game, but Sharp already at a massive advantage. I think that indeed some lag and some mental, emotional stress here is bringing Mini down a little bit and kind of, you know, slowing his responses, slowing his strategy, you know, making him look like a bit of a noob here with Sharp just getting mines, getting the connections. You know, how can you lose your first like 3-4 Dragoons to mines as a professional player? It doesn't make sense, especially from someone the caliber of Mini.
I honestly think it's the emotional factor of the game, definitely making him play a little more shaky than he would have done usually. He's doing a pretty good job right now of getting a Scarab connection without losing the Reaver to any damage there, but didn't even like manage to get the additional connection on the tank with the Zealot side blades to get the kill. So Sharp being on top of his response to this harassment as well, not even gonna be able to find any damage. So with us, he's taking a third at 8 minutes. As I really don't feel like Mini has enough of a curve to come back in this game in a strong way. I feel like maybe he can find something in the next like 3 to 5 minutes eventually, but for the time being, I really feel like he's behind the curve.
Yeah, he's behind the curve, and there's Goliath here at the front trying to push away this shuttle, and yeah, the shuttle gets that speed upgrade, so it will be able to back away in time. Losing that Reaver right now would actually be the end of the game 100%, because the push is going to come out here from Sharp pretty soon. He's got extra factories finishing up right now. This Reaver, excuse me, is everything. He needs this Reaver to stay alive in order to keep himself safe in this game, in order to stop this push or at least slow it down in a serious way, in a meaningful manner.
Yeah, I mean, I really would like to see Mini perform here and keep the series going. I'm just a little bit worried for him. We also have this sort of like tank Goliath setup as well, which is really strong against the shuttle play. And I feel like that's also going to afford Sharp the ability to push across the map very soon and challenge this third base timing of Mini. And I don't know if he's going to have enough forces to slow this down. His Reaver control is going to be really exceptional, and I don't know if that's going to be good enough with the Goliath support.
How many gateways do we have? 5, 6 gateways, but there's 5 factories, so only 1 extra gateway. Is he gonna lose this? Oh, that was close. You see the tanks turned their barrels towards the Reaver, but just not able to get that shot off. Mini only getting 1 shot doesn't mean, it means he doesn't even lose a tank though. Gonna kill off this observer. That makes things a lot scarier, and look at that, we have Charon boosters now done. So Mini has to be really careful with this Reaver now. Super careful, because 3 Goliath is going to take down a shuttle incredibly fast. You really need to be careful with that, and if you lose that, could really be at the end of this game. And now Sharp moving around the map. He's looking for some good mine positions here. He just wants to get more map control, get more vision out on the map, and prepare for this next push. Maybe pull some of the forces around here, and he's gonna get another observer. Okay, not having these observers is brutal. Oh, he doesn't scan. Okay, not gonna get that.
Yeah, what do you think about this? Do you feel like right now that Mini can really do much to deal with? Sharp's getting into the main base with these vultures as well. Going to be even more frustrating for Mini to deal with, because while Sharp's doing this damage in the main base, he's moving his entire army over to this sort of third base location of Mini. Going to be setting up a frontal assault there, snaking his tanks in a big long line, forcing a frontal engagement. Here comes from Mini with the 2 shells, trying to get on top of those tanks with the Zealots bombarding them, and there's the Reavers coming out. 1 Reaver goes down in quick succession. Only 1 Reaver left available. Too many, not enough splash damage to deal with this army, and now Sharp going to be rolling on forward towards the rally point location of Mini, slowly but surely keeping the pressure and keeping the tanks unsieged. We can roll and make much ground as possible in the short time as possible, so we can cut off any force from coming in here to re-secure this third base location. Shuttle's now desperately trying to set up bomb on top of these tanks to try and break out from this formation so we can defend this third base at all costs, but so far not looking like he can hold on to it. His infantry force has dried up slightly too much. The Goliaths have taken out the shuttles. There's only 1 single Reaver and shuttle remaining to him to try and harass from the eastern side while the Dragoons come out from the rally point. There is enough Dragoons now to fight this back, but he needs to micro this perfectly, Sam.
Yeah, this is getting really dangerous here. Sharp dropping below 90 supply though, is rallying across the map. He's going to send 1 tank up here, and this might actually be the moment for Mini to break. He's going to come forward with the removal of that tank. He's going to try and drop on top of this. Zealots bombing. More mines being thrown down, though. Reaver is very low, and it's just pure goon now trying to fight against Vulture tank, and I think this is a losing battle. 1 Reaver here. 1 more shot. Can he get it? Okay, he gets 1 tank there, and a tank up at the top here. Looks like it got killed by those 2 Dragoons. Maybe these 2 Dragoons can get another kill on another tank and start to even this out. No, he doesn't come forward with that Dragoon to get the kill, and the Vultures will clean this up. Tank gonna break through eventually, and he can get in there with those Vultures. Man, Sharp's so handsome with these Vultures, dude. He is so good at playing and placing these mines, and that's what I heard from the players at the BSL LAN. Is like, not that Sharp is so amazing at moving his Vultures, but his real super skill is dropping mines in the perfect spots. He's always able to get those mines right on top of the units that they need to be on top of. And there it goes. He kills that Reaver. Reaver is down. And the mines here at the front are going to kind of slow this army, at least enough to kill this third base. And all the probes are probably going to go down as well.
Yeah, Mini is ahead 20 supply, so he has just barely enough overwhelming forces to engage still, but he's not quite able to outposition and out micro Sharp. Sharp's doing such a great job of keeping his army in a tight and advantageous position on the other side of this little pond over here, and forcing forcing Mini to have to come through these minefields to engage. And he's using these minefields to buy as much time as possible to make sure he's taking these engagements when it suits them, and that's why we see him trying to desperately get away with these 2 tanks here, trying to maximize his army value, forcing now Mini to decide, does he want to defend or attack? And he tried to catch some of these siege tanks, but now he's going to be paying the price. Loses that shuttle in the main base as well, not even going to be finding any value with that. And now without his 3rd base online, it's going to be really tough for him to keep up with the production of Sharp going forward. And now the supply is starting to even out, and Sharp's going to be taking a very strong lead in this game.
Yeah, this is a winning position for Sharp now. With the 3rd base down, and there's really no way for the Protoss player to bring this one back. He's going to lose the Reaver. He's going to lose the shuttle. He kills all of these tanks, of course, but he doesn't even have speed on his Zealots or anything. He's just trying to, you know, Zealot bomb his way to victory here, and he's going to kill these tanks. But back at home, Sharp has another army ready and waiting. He's going to take this 3rd right away. That is so many vultures. He's going to be able to run around this army, put down a ton of mines, take some map control, and make it really hard for Mini to do any sort of counterattack, even adding tanks over this wall as well. I love it. It's going to be very difficult for Mini to get through this position.
Yeah, I don't know if he can even break this position at the moment. I feel like he's just going to consolidate, double expand, and try and desperately cling on to the mid to late game phase rather than try and find any advantage right now. I just don't feel like he can afford to come in here and attack this natural 3rd of Sharps. I feel like he'd be kind of signing his own death sentence. It seems like he's gearing up to maybe come in here and bust into this position, or at least give himself the opportunity to do so, threaten the occasion, even if he's not going to go for it. We do see some High Templars coming out of the gateways now, so eventually we'll have some splash damage available to him to use. But I feel like Mini has to kind of play the long game right now, and we'll kind of wait Sharp out for the time being.
Yeah, it's got to sit back and wait. Build some more probes up. He lost so many probes at that 3rd. If you remember, it's just like a massive number, maybe 20 or so probes got lost. So he really needs to buy some time here, find a way back into this game with these double expansions. You need at least 40 probes for those 2 bases. So he's building up that probe count right now, but in the meantime, Sharp is just getting farther and farther ahead. He's got the 3rd. He should be able to take a 4th now and, you know, move towards the center of the map, take that position, and get himself into, you know, the upgrades that he needs, the 3-3, to just overwhelm this Protoss player. Now, looking for some damage here. Maybe Mini can start to slow things down by doing little backstabs, little counterattacks here and there. And I think he's going to go for a Storm drop here in the natural before the SCVs are really spread out. There's still a lot of Storm available. Oh, God, but he's going to get caught. Wraith spots it. There it is.
Just barely spotted that as well, Sale. He was turning that around like 1 hex, and that shell was more in the top right. He actually would have survived. Instead, though, does actually manage to get the unload, gets 1 storm, but beautiful dodge. Only going to get a single SCV with that for his efforts. Not the kind of success that he would have liked to have seen. He's going to be catching a few of these Goliaths that were straggling off to the side, but not really getting much for his time here, and he's not going to be happy about that as well. And he's actually a little bit slow on mining this gas at his natural 3rd as well, so he's a little bit behind his production value that he should be. So he's not able to churn out enough of these High Templars that he probably should be able to do so at this phase of the game to have the splash damage required to be able to even fight the Terran anytime soon. So he's going to be in a really weird position. Now, look at this Vulture raid at the natural mineral only expansion, going to be killing pretty much every single probe here, and then also going to be turning fire onto that cannon as well. Could just snipe with these High Templars, I feel like.
Ooh, so many High Templars going down right now. He's actually got a full shuttle here, I think, full of High Templar, and so he can't pick up any more. He does cast the storms and saves the majority of them, but that's rough, man. Losing that many probes after losing the 3rd and you know, losing the initial probes, that's brutal right now. And Sharp actually 20 supply ahead. He should be able to come out here with one last big push. And if Mini doesn't get like the clutchest storms ever on the advancing army, I think that he's just gonna die.
I mean, and plus 3 will be finished for Sharp in the next minute or so. This is looking really rough for Mini. He's only got +1 upgrades on his ground army, and Once this +3 kicks in for Sharp, I don't know how he's gonna deal with that. I mean, he could basically just start attack moving with his siege tanks at that point and not even worrying about using siege mode. It's gonna be really tough for me to even engage this. I mean, look at the just swell of tanks mobilizing out into the center of the map right now, and look at the, by comparison, Mini's dwarfed little infantry force here, trying to have some kind of contingency plan in the center of the map, but it's not looking good. It seems like the investors were a little bit more favored towards Sharp side in the war games here, and then we see another desperate storm draw going to be coming down, but Sharp's on top of things, going to be drilling those SCVs away, not really losing anything, and has some siege tanks in position here to deal with any follow-up harassment as well. Going to be swinging around to the main base. There's not really anything here for him to find, so Mini not really going to be able to do anything with this comeback potential besides kill some gas SCVs here.
All right, he's going to storm the Wraith. That's, I guess, some sort of value, but you really need these storms on the defense right now because this attack is coming through, and Mini's not even ready for that. I don't think he even sees this until just now. Right now, he sees this huge army sieging up at the bottom of his false high ground. It's going to start to hit these probes. Everything has to be pulled, and Mini's going to have to move through the middle of the map to try and get around this army and break through it. +2/+2 is done. Are we going to have that +3 here pretty soon? Sharp, he's not going to wait for it. He's moving forward here aggressively, pushing back Mini, taking out bases, and Mini really can't do much about it. He's just sitting here back, trying to, you know, drop zealots and that type of thing, but he's not really going to be able to stop this.
Yeah, I mean, 3-2's just kicked in. The Terran player's always maxed out. Mini's on 170 supply. Doesn't have the production to keep up with Sharp right now. The only thing that Mini's got going for him is that if Sharp lost this army, it'd be very hard for him to replace this army quickly, but it's going to be almost impossible for Mini to kill this army as well. So if Sharp's going to force a frontal engagement from Mini now, 3 shuttles are waiting in the wings, ready to pounce on this position, but he doesn't realize just how much of a force there is behind this initial siege line that he can see. And once he starts to go in a little bit, he's going to realize just how dire the situation is. Beautiful storms on the initial tanks. Here comes the shells trying to get in deep as possible. He sees the huge tank line in the back. He's going to be kind of scratching his head and sighing a little bit. He knows how bad of a position this is now. High Templar is going to be dying in the retreat as well to these vultures. Really everything going wrong for Mini here. Not able to muster much of an assault that's going to be successful, and just kind of drying up and withering away in the center.
Yeah, his upgrades are so far behind here, and I don't think even that's going to matter because this army is so big. There's tank lines for days here at the back. He does pick off some good tanks, get some good storms down, but yeah, it's got to be disheartening to see how long this tank line is and how much forces still do remain after that attack. And Sharp going to move here towards this natural. All he needs to do is cut off the natural, right? He just needs to get in here and just stop the rallies from coming forward. There's no other place to rally from for Mini. He's actually moving around the map, going for a counterattack right now. But I think just the rallies of Sharp should be able to handle this.
Yeah, he should have enough production that he doesn't really need to worry about this counterattack. I mean, he will have this base slowed down from... Oh, Sharp going to be lagged out. I think this is some of the lag we were talking about from the BSL cast.
Yeah, it is what it is. He's playing from Thailand, so... a little bit of a drop here. If he does end up dropping, I think you have to give it to Sharp. I don't know what the rules are here at the KCM, but it feels like if Mini is feeling generous, if he's feeling... if he looks at the replay, honestly, I think he would say that Sharp is going to win this one. And looks like we are actually going to drop. So maybe I'll fast forward and we can check out the next game. Yeah, looks like we gave it to him.
I mean, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you? I mean, the entire game state was indicative of that. It's hard not to give it to him.
All right, that's rough. Not the way we wanted to end. Kind of a weird one here. We've never had this ending to KCM before.
It's even funnier that the guy was at your event that you were just at, and that's why he's lagging out in this event that we're casting now remotely. Even though you're still in Thailand, even though you're still in Thailand covering that event that caused him to lag in the first place. It's a hilarious synchronicity, Sam.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I was probably sitting like maybe 10 feet away from him when this happened, by the way. I didn't watch this game, but I was doing casting or whatever, and while he was playing. So that's pretty hilarious. Regardless, let's just talk about this next match here. Yeah, I mean the match is important, but was Team Bisa really going to be able to win? I doubt it. Even if Mini was able to grab that next win, man, how the hell were they going to come back in this series?
Yeah, I don't know how the roulette would have gone in their favor. I think like pretty much no matter what they would have gotten, it would have been pretty devastating for them going forward. I feel like we were going to have a hero victory no matter what there, despite Mini winning or not.
Yeah, that's my impression as well. So Team Hero will move on. Team Hero going to go to match 3, and Team Bisu has been eliminated. What should we say about these matches here today?
Well, they're really exciting matches. We should talk about how crazy good Saktari's been playing. Like he seems like he's the only he's preparing for these games like they're like ASL semifinals games, and it seems like these other guys are preparing for these games like they're ladder games, and compared to like how they look against him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it feels like he is at the absolute pinnacle of his game. I mean, he's playing so out of his mind that he's able to take down Bisu with such class, such finesse. It's really outstanding. It's astounding, truly. And
honestly, I feel like
I don't know if that's
coming. Like,
yeah, I don't know if that's just like him preparing for Bisu really, really hard, or is that just him being so well practiced right now that he's just at that level? What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of column A, column B, honestly. I feel like both of those statements are true. I feel like not only did he have such a good read on how Bisu wanted to play that, but he also his execution was just so on point. He's playing definitely at like a way more of a high ASL level, whereas these other guys are kind of like playing a bit more relaxed in comparison.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. I mean, we're in the off season right now, so people who are, you know, not as serious, maybe they're more confident that they can get into the ASL. They're not going to be practicing as hard. Whereas Saktari, he's kind of on the edge, right? Like it's not a guaranteed thing that's going to make it into the ASL, but he is really practicing hard. And one thing I want to mention as well, I talked to Sharp at the event, the BSL event in Thailand here, and he said that his goal right now is to get the ASL championship. Like that's his dream. So he is definitely gunning for that as well, and practicing super hard. Like he was practicing the whole day, even when he's in Thailand. He's supposed to be, you know, just relaxing. He's on vacation. You know, he's supposed to be having a good time and just playing some fun games with some foreign players. He's like grinding. He is grinding right now. So it's cool to see. And he performed really well in his show matches versus the foreign players. It was pretty impressive.
It's nice to see that despite them not living in pro gamer houses, some of these players do have that sort of like pro gamer house mentality of like they got to put in the hours, you know, they got to put in 10, 14 hours a day of just pure grind.
Yeah, it's not what I want to do with my life, but more power to them, man. Like playing that much ladder, can you imagine? Just grinding that much ladder every single day. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live like that personally, but hey, if that's what it takes, these guys are gonna do it, you know.
And I mean, it's not like it's only those players too. Like you can see Artosis grinding tons of ladder every single day as well. It's also focus practice too, right? Like I think that Sharp, and this is one thing that I communicated with DeWalt as well, and he was telling me that one of the big advantages of being a Korean and of you know, practicing in Korea is that your practice partners are of such high quality. All of these players know each other, and they're all constantly practicing with each other, not only on ladder but off ladder as well, in private games, and talking to each other about strategy all the time, figuring out new strategies, figuring out ways to beat specific players, that type of thing. So the communication level is like team house level, even in 2023, right? Where players are mostly doing streaming, but they're also communicating in these big Discord groups and, you know, constantly calling each other and talking about strategy. It's a great time right now for Broodwar.
Well, I feel like with platforms like Discord and the way tech has been like coming compared to the old days of like the early pro gamer house days, I feel like we have the resources and technology and know-how to kind of do these kind of like simulated online pro gamer house style of formats to get the most out of the players in a much more casual way. So they're still able to kind of have that like high level, intensive practice, but maybe not as quite as secretive and offline as it used to be.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. And well, guys, we're going to be seeing a match with Team Queen versus Team Hero. That will be coming out very, very soon. I promise you. All these have been played live, so if you want to check them out beforehand, definitely you can head over to KCM's channel. It's just going to be a little late here because of all the BSL stuff that was going on. So we will get those out to you as soon as possible. Anything else you want to say, Shin, before we wrap things up?
Not really saying. I've had a great time casting these games here, and I'm kind of envious of you having such a great experience in Thailand, and it's really cool that you got to meet Sharp.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I hope that you'll be able to come to the next one, man. That would be fantastic. I saw some stream comments saying that should be there as well in the chat while we were streaming, so that was nice to see. And yeah, hopefully we'll get you out to the next event. And I'm really looking forward to match 3, man. This is a little bit of a disappointment here with Team Bisou getting taken out so quickly, only managing to take 1 game off Team Hero. But Team Queen versus Team Hero should be fantastic.
Yeah, I think so. It's a shame. Looks like Bora, the designated driver for the 8 bus, going to be driving them off a cliff into oblivion, at least for the rest of this season. And we're maybe hearing a little bit more from those players again once they reassemble into a different format for the future. But for the time being, I'll be looking forward to some rematches between the likes of Team Queen, Team Hero, and then the winner of that will be going up against Team Light. So we'll be seeing a lot of rematches and great series from these final 3 teams. Pretty much no matter what happens from this point on, we're going to be seeing some very stellar gameplay.
Yeah, imagine being the one Terran player on your team of Protoss and you're the only one who got a win. Oh my gosh, yeah. Everyone else is just monkeying around in the back seats. And you're up there actually trying to do something, trying to be productive, trying to get wins. And yeah, what a experience there for Bora. I'm sure she's a little bit frustrated at this point.
Rolling her eyes in the driver's seat.
Rolling her eyes in the driver's seat and wondering how she ended up getting this role for the Team KCM. But Team Bisou is out. There's no more Team Bisou anymore. It's all down to Team Queen, Team Hero, and Team Light. And we'll be continuing this series very, very soon, guys. So thanks for joining us today. We'll see you in the next video.